The spectrum of cars out there is the size of the world itself, and the only way to see them is to actually go there. And so when an opportunity to film car culture in New Zealand came up, thanks to Andy, Kaz, and Rob, the creators of Automation, we took them up on it and brought back these films. Automation is the first car company tycoon game where you can design your own cars and engines in crazy technical detail, test them, and create your own version of the perfect car company. And rather than buying banner ads, they called on us to help sell it. Without them, we wouldn't have these videos, so check out their game at automationgame.com. As we learned very quickly on our journey through New Zealand, home-tuned cars and motorsport carry a great tradition in Kiwi culture. Track days are frequent and reasonably affordable. Nearly every weekend of the year you can find a hill climb on a closed road somewhere in the country. And, just like in the US, those most dedicated to racing join local clubs to share knowledge, resources, and track time. And speaking of track time, this is Manfield Park. Its 3-kilometer main circuit is home to everything from V8 supercars to local track days. We're not driving there. We're on the 1.6-kilometer side circuit, which is just as wet as the main circuit, but way cheaper to rent. The Hutt Valley Motorsports Club has met us out here with their finest homebrew track cars, and we've decided to go oldest to newest. So let's take it back to '84. Corolla, Trueno, Hachiroku, the 86. Depending on who you ask, this is either the most underrated or the most overrated car in history. What is not up for debate is the culture surrounding it. From Initial D to Formula D, the original 86 is a hooligan's dream. It's light, it's rear-wheel drive, its 4 AGE engine revs as high as a Porsche GT3's, and it's nearly unbreakable. A clean example in the US can fetch as much as $20,000. But wait till you hear how club president Jared Rush got this one.
My mate drove it up the driveway, he owed me $50 and he bought it at an auction. And he said, well, I was there, so I bought it. Do you want it? Yeah, I'll have it. It's a car. So it has the 4 AGE engine, and it's a blacktop version of the 4 AGE engine, so out of the later model Toyota. It has a standard 5-speed gearbox and the standard differential. But of course we run a lot higher ratio, so we can get the pick up and go for our hill climbs and our street sprints, and of course our autocrosses. It weighs 820 kilos, and it has 100 kilowatts, 102 kilowatts. Yeah. Standard motor, standard computer. To me, weight reduction is, it's easy. Yeah, you can get out the angle grinder, you can take 20 kilos out, and it's cost you nothing. Whereas, to get another 20 horsepower, my goodness, you're going to spend thousands of dollars. So yeah, I like to make up carbon fibre panels and replace pieces of the steel with the carbon fibre. We make carbon fibre in our shed. Panels in the guards, radiator surrounds, supports, dashboards, all that sort of stuff. Some of the carbon fibre stuff when you're learning, can go very horribly wrong. But hey, you gotta be willing to make mistakes.
Believe it or not, I've never actually driven a proper 86. So this is the true JDM experience. It's technically a Trueno, which is the Japanese one. It's very light, it's very loud, it's very wet outside, and this car is very rear-wheel drive, which means I can do this. Yeah! The fucking screamer. It's not very fast. That hardly matters when you can just yoink. Slippy sliding.
It's underpowered compared to all the rest of the cars around me. You're racing a hill climb or a street sprint against WRXs, Mitsubishi Evos, and so forth, and you're showing them what's up. You're with them, you're going as fast as them, but you have a third of the horsepower. If you want to keep up with those guys, you've got to get 10 tenths out of it, if not more. Not doing things to the drastic has always been my sort of attack, trying to make things to have the car to have a lot of give. With some of the courses we do can be very unforgiving. The hill climbs and circuits can be very undulating, and it'll catch you out if you have an incredibly hard car. So this car has a lot of give. There's a lot of suspension travel, but also, of course, we've increased the caster, increased the camber, but not to extremes like a lot of guys do. Yeah, it's very forgiving, and it's a great fun car to drive.
Just yank that handbrake and it comes right around and then mat it to the floor. Listen to the trumpets wail as it goes sky high. And then do it again. Yeah, all I want to do is fly around. I've never used the handbrake with my left hand before, so it takes some getting used to. It's so wet out here and there's no defroster, so it's really, really hard to see. There's third gear. Got a clutch kick in. Hell yeah! Drifting is so goddamn fun in a lightweight car. There's no grip on the track. There's standing water everywhere. But Jared grooves his own tires. He carves his own grooves in the tires. So you actually do get some grip once you put your foot in it.
I take a lot of time and effort with my tyres. I groove my tyres just about before every event. I'll sharpen up the edges and make sure that the sides of the tyres have got a lot of grip. Run my pressures very low in like the 25 psi because we don't get them warm. You know, you've got 1 minute, it's all on, and it has to be all on from then. The turns in and points and squirts, yeah, they're cool cars. NA is magic. It's screaming its head off.
Big draft, big draft. Here we go. Big draft.
I'm pulling 8,000 RPM out of these corners in second gear. The response is so good. Even in the wet, I turn the wheel, it turns right in. And even with no power steering, the car is just so light that it just doesn't matter. We're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it again. There it is. Yeah. It runs like an absolute champ. You ever get in a car and you're going, oh, it's dialed in? It's dialed in. Drifting is the most addictive thing ever. Even if you're not great at it, and I am not great at it, you can't stop. You gotta try it again. You gotta try it again. You gotta try it again. You can't stop until you just nail it perfectly. Sort of like that.
Just about every area I look at, yeah, I see things that I could improve. I could have done better. Yeah, it ain't finished. It ain't ever going to be finished. Yeah.
There's nothing I don't like here. Nothing. I don't care that it's got no power because I can drift it in third. Man, they're gonna have to pry me out of this car.
New Zealand car culture, yeah, is about building stuff in your shed. It's about having fun, and it's about mates, and yeah, racing what you've built and what you own. A lot of guys spend a lot of time and effort in their own sheds, yeah, building what they want, how they want it. Yeah.
Heaven is an 86 in the rain, man. Woo!
What's in a good shed? Because everyone has a shed here. Is what I realize. Like, what makes a good garage shed?
Usually a fridge and a couple of seats. And hopefully a car or two, and there are some tools. Yeah.
Yesterday on the Smoking Tire, we brought you guys the brand new 2011 V6 Mustang with 305 horsepower, and surprisingly, or unsurprisingly, it was very good. But today it's time for the big boy. That's right, the GT, the return of the 5.0. And today I'm going to take this car into some of my favorite California roads and on a drag strip against the Camaro SS. We're going to see how it does, but something tells me the deck is stacked in Mustang's favor with 412 horsepower. Let's see how this goes. I'm Matt Zack, you're watching the Smoking Tire.
Royal Purple is the performance oil that outperforms. More power and torque, reduced wear, better economy, longer oil life. It's so good that 25 out of 28 of America's top high-performance engine builders relied on it at this year's Engine Masters Challenge. Why? Royal Purple delivers real-world performance. Royal Purple, the performance oil that outperforms.
It's a 2011 Mustang GT 5-liter engine. It's finally back. I got a story to tell you. My first car, sports car anyway, real car, was a 5-liter Mustang. It was a 94, and it made 215 horsepower. I had that car for exactly 2 weeks before I yanked the entire engine and put in the 347 stroker motor that made just over 400 horsepower. 12 years later, this car does that in stock form. 412 horsepower exactly, 390 pound-feet of torque, and the car weighs 3,600 pounds, which, for the record, is 200 pounds less than the Camaro and 400 pounds less than the Challenger. And what does that mean? Well, if you can tell by how I'm driving on the Rattlesnake right now, it means it's light, and you can feel it. You can feel it in the corners, you can feel it in the launches, you can feel it when it pulls. The engine isn't the only new thing in the car. We've got a 6-speed transmission, finally, bringing the Mustang into the 21st century. 6th gear, sort of like the Corvette, is kind of an overdrive. In fact, it's not kind of, it is an overdrive, which helps the Mustang achieve 26 miles per gallon on the highway in stick form. The 5-liter engine has been long missed, and they did a hell of a job on this guy. This engine makes power everywhere, in any gear, all the time. So I can be in second, I can be in third, I can be in fourth, whatever. Fifth is a 1-to-1 in the car, so you can even be in fifth and have some nice power. It wouldn't be a Mustang review if I didn't talk about the live axle, which they're still using. However, they've figured out a way to dial it out, whether it's the suspension, the tires, whatever it is they're doing. They have figured out how to make a live axle car handle without hopping all over the road. And for that, I give them 10 points. Our test car is almost $42,000, which sounds like a lot, but this car does have just about everything you can get in a Mustang, with the exception, of course, of being convertible. It's got the sync with the touchscreen, it's got the comfort package, Bluetooth, Our car actually has the Brembo brake upgrade, which is about $2 grand, and I would spend the money. This car is heavy enough where $2 grand goes a long way with a good set of brakes, especially if you're going to be tracking the car. The sound. People used to tell me the only redeeming quality of that 4.6 engine was the sound of it, and I thought it sounded good. This sounds much better. I mean, it's got an extra 100 horsepower from the old engine. There aren't a whole lot of problems 100 extra horsepower won't fix, and this car wasn't broken in the first place. So they took, in my opinion, the best of the three muscle cars and made it even better.
Choosing a favorite Ferrari is one of the more difficult tasks you could ask of a sports car fan. There's just so many great ones to choose from. But no one could escape the late 1980s. We send them Milli Vanilli, and they send back this, the Ferrari 348. Though absolutely stunning, the 348 wasn't exactly a smash it out of the box, especially compared to the NSX, which Honda dropped a year later. But by the time the run was done in '95, Ferrari had refined the 348 to the point of greatness, culminating in this, the 348 Challenge, one of the rarest Ferraris of the modern era. They are the right size, they make the right sounds, and they have the right badge. The problem, unfortunately, was the engine. Even with the V8 bump to 320 horsepower in the Challenge version, it just wasn't all that quick. And that is where Steve Maxwell comes in.
My name is Statistically. This is Steve Maxwell's Exotic Car Service, and this is my 1994 348 Challenge. This car was found on the internet back in Ohio, and it was an original 348 Challenge race car, and it came to us relatively rough. That means door dings everywhere from floor jacks, had been seen race duty, rats had lived in it. So yeah, we pretty much took it apart, restored it, and decided to make it go fast. The turbos are 6062 T04 comp triple ball bearing turbos. We're running them very conservatively. I mean, we typically run 10 pounds for normal driving, and if I feel like it, I can go to 15 on the fly.
Ferrari 458 has 563 horsepower, 400 pounds of torque, and weighs 3,275 pounds. And this is a 1994 Ferrari 348 Challenge. It has 600 horsepower and 500 pounds of torque at the wheels and weighs 3,175 pounds. Oh, yes. This is a tasty one. When they contacted me and said, Matt, I want you to drive our car, all they sent me was a picture of the engine. And that was enough. They had me a twin-turbo Ferrari. The Ferrari 348 never gets much love. No one ever lusts after a 348 because the 355 is better. My memories of a 348 really consist of the cover of a Car and Driver magazine where a cyclone was beating it to 60. And that's how a lot of people think of these cars. I put pictures on Instagram and people go, yuck. But Steve Maxwell appears to be a man who can turn lead into gold, because this Ferrari 348 is nutty. I am a fan here. So what we've got is a twin-turbo 3.4 liter Ferrari engine, fully built, with all kinds of goodies in the inside. Oh, twin ball bearing turbos, a beautiful exhaust, suspension and a gearbox from a 355 Challenge, and it is just the greatest thing ever when you match it with a gated shifter, a super sticky set of tires, and the biggest AP Racing aftermarket brakes I've ever seen. Oh, it is just delicious.
With the whole thing with modifying a Ferrari, here is where we decided to do exactly what we did, which was make it look like something that Ferrari would have made. All the scripting, everything on the vehicle is made in-house. The airboxes are made in-house to look like something that Ferrari made. Most people that aren't super up to speed with models of Ferrari and all that have no idea that this was not a production car. To accommodate the power, we chose to use 355 Challenge springs at each corner. We use 355 Challenge sway bars. It does have the 348 original Challenge wheels, which are magnesium and light. We put in a 355 gearbox. We had to upgrade our cooling system, of course, so we put relatively very large radiators in each corner. In the gearbox, to keep metal from floating around, we installed very special magnets strategically placed to pick up any particles so they don't go trashing through the gearbox, causing bigger issues. The brakes that we decided to put on this car are 14 3/4 inch, and they happen to be 38 millimeters wide. Each caliper there's 6 piston calipers, front and rear, and the brakes are identical front and back.
Okay, these brakes are nutty. There's no power steering, so the steering feel is good, but it's really heavy. You gotta hold it. Pedals are about 4 inches off to my right. I can wear shoes. Heel towing is fantastic. They say they have recorded 0 to 60 runs in 2.8 seconds, and it is gear limited to a top speed of 192 miles an hour. So here we go, second gear, 2,000 RPM. I'm flat. There's 3, 4, 4.5, 5, boost! And then it makes boost all the way to the 8,900 RPM red line. Woo-hoo! Yes! Oh, it's so good! It was sort of for gentlemen racers to compete with each other on the track, sort of like they do with the 355, 360, and on. You see the challenge cars. And all the 348 challenge race cars were actually street legal. So this isn't like a challenge stradale. It's actually a race car that you can drive on the street. This one, it's not just about the power or the dynamics or the handling. It's also about the attention to detail. And what I mean is, Steven has made this entire gorgeous center console with marked buttons that look factory but do different stuff.
We have a series of extra buttons in the center console, and they range from traction control. I have 2 traction control buttons. I have one that is just my everyday driving traction control button. I have a wet traction control button. We have a launch control button. We have an overboost button, which gets me from 10 pounds of boost to 15 pounds of boost. We decided to put launch control in the vehicle because, for one, it's really cool, and the computer that we used offered it.
Car's got launch control built in. I want to see how it works. This thing combines every single sound I love. Ferrari V8, turbo wastegate, the click of a gated shifter. It's an eargasm. Oh my God. Oh, if women knew what that was, they would probably react to it. Except in LA where they go, ew, you have a 348. You're like, yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch, I do.
Okay, look, there's obviously more to a modern sports car than just a power-to-weight ratio. And on a tight circuit, there's no question in my mind that a 458 could beat this car practically on gearbox alone. However, in a straight line drag race, it's not happening. In the higher gears, with the kind of power this car can get to the ground, I have no question it would walk a 458 all the way to 190. But ultimately, it's not about sheer speed. This car is 100% full-bore theater of the soul. It's everything you wanted from an old Ferrari, along with the power you want from a modern supercar, and an 8-piece orchestra under your right foot. It's analog, vicious, and all for you, because those who don't know it will easily dismiss it, at least until the third honk and the flame salute. Then they, like I, will know exactly what's up.
Two years ago, we drove the magnificent BMW 1 Series M Coupe, and it was nearly perfect. Perfect except that BMW held it back so it wouldn't step on the M3's toes. And that's a problem that Steve Dinan doesn't have. So he's given us the 1 Series M Coupe Dinan S3R, which theoretically fixes all the problems with the stock car. The question is, has it? So what Dinan does is they put in a carbon fiber air intake, a bigger intercooler, a bigger compressor wheel in the turbos, an oil cooler, and a stainless steel exhaust. And out comes 444 horsepower and 450 pounds of torque. And boy, do you notice it. Because it's not just that the number is bigger, it's how it's delivered. The stock car has a very flat torque curve, so really no matter where you are in the power band, you're getting about the same amount of power. This one feels much more like a turbocharged car, as boost builds as you work your way up the power band. In the suspension department, we've got a complete coilover package, along with better sway bars, better end links, better bushings. We've got spherical bushings in the front, and bigger wheels and tires with a 295 in the back and a 265 in the front. How does it all add up? Well, the suspension's stiffer than stock, certainly, although it doesn't really beat you up. It's just you notice more of the road. On the other hand, the turn-in is much better. You turn the wheel and the front end moves much quicker. Zero understeer. The car rotates perfectly through every corner. Sounds better, faster in every possible measure. It's got more grip. It's got more madness. All the things we wanted from the first M. Now, are there any downsides? A little bit. The car is so fast that you actually have to pay much more attention when you're driving it. For instance, it's probably as fast as the 911 Carrera S right now, but you have to pay closer attention to get that out of it. Also, there's the question of collectability. As I predicted with the first film, these things have already started to go up in value. They're only going to keep going up. So does turning one into a tuner car ruin that? I don't think so. I think if you did a hodgepodge job of it, mixing and matching parts, it might. But if you do a complete dine-in package, my research on eBay shows that it actually will maintain its value, maybe not go up in value faster than it does in stock, but it will hold its value because of the reliability that dine-in builds are known for. Plus, they offer a warranty, 4-year, 50,000 miles. So, if $20,000 for this upgrade seems expensive, and don't get me wrong, it is kind of expensive. Just think about how expensive it could be if you did the same kind of upgrade with no warranty and blew something up. That would be expensive. The only real downsides at all to this are the initial cost to do it in the first place, and that it actually could be too much for you. Of the comments we've heard about this car, no one's had anything bad to say except, man, this thing might actually be too fast. So, can you keep up with it? Not can it keep up with much more expensive cars.
The decision of whether or not to send your quite limited and quite valuable 1M to dine-in for an upgrade to monster status is of course your own. You see, on the one hand, we all know originality makes a difference down the road if you're looking for an investment, and on the other, maybe you don't care about making a profit. You just want the nastiest, rawest, meanest BMW that you could still daily drive without hating your life. If that's the case, pull that trigger and find somewhere with a lot of room, because you're gonna need it.
Hey, looking mostly alive. Still recording. Sweet. Alive and recording. Bitchin'.
Hey guys, there's a new series on YouTube called What's in My Fridge that goes inside the kitchens, pantries, and fridges of some of the top YouTubers.
I'm Greg Benson of Mediocre Films.
Brussels sprout stocks are in season.
Cinnamon swirl bread makes the greatest French toast ever.
It's on Upwave, and each episode will show you something you never knew about YouTube favorites like Michael Buckley and It's Judy Time. Let's take a look at what's in my fridge. I got some turkey and chorizo chili I made last night. There's stocks, coconut milk. I got pluots, because those are the best fruits. Some lettuce, some green onions. Nino's homemade juice. Good stuff, good stuff. Not the candy and bacon you were probably expecting. Click down here to learn more about your favorite YouTube personalities and living on the up. And don't forget to subscribe. This is the 2014 Porsche Panamera, and I've come 1,000 miles to Oregon to drive it. And if you're like me, you're looking at the new Panamera going, that looks just like the old Panamera. And I agree, it totally does, until you start looking close. They gave it new front and rear bumpers, headlights, taillights, side skirts, and they've changed the angle of the rear window a bit, so now you can see even less than before. Good thing they've also given it an overhead view backup camera, which is always a great option. There are a bunch of new engine choices as well. There's a twin-turbo V6, which replaces the V8 in the S model. The GTS keeps the V8, but gets a bit more power. And there's a plug-in hybrid that can go 20 miles on pure electric, and then when the battery dies, the gas engine comes on, and it can charge itself. And then there's the turbo, which gets a few more horsepower, a few more gadgets, and as usual, in press trim, carries a price tag bigger than its, hindquarters. The base price of the Panamera Turbo is $141,300, but as you can expect, my tester isn't exactly base. Shall we? Carmine red, leather interior in black, retractable luggage compartment roller cover, thermal and noise insulated glass, electric roll-up sun blinds for rear compartment and side windows, sport design steering wheel, adaptive sport seats, carbon fiber interior, exterior packaging, high gloss black, Porsche Car Connect voice control system, telephone module, park assist with surround view, interior lighting package, LED headlights, Porsche dynamic light system, seat ventilation, front and rear, lane departure warning, ceramic brakes, rear wiper, 20-inch Panamera sport wheel in black, adaptive air suspension including PASM and PDCC, steering wheel heating, adaptive sport seats, sport package, premium package plus, Burmeister audio package, door sill guards in brushed aluminum, preparation door sill guards aluminum, key case in leather, vehicle key painted, LED interior lighting package, destination charge, and taxes brings the total to $194,685. And if you are bad at math, let me tell you, there is a Boxster worth of options in that Panamera Turbo. Damn. Now before you start going crazy about what Porsche charges for some of these options, remember that they are just that, they're options. Rather than becoming angry about getting ripped off, just take a second to think about the ways that you can make a Panamera your own. The odds are you'll never see another one like it. The order guide for this thing is literally 40 pages long, and you can get as much or as little as you want.
As usual, the best value is to buy the biggest engine available and nothing else.
When you're looking at a Porsche, you can look at the pricing and see, well, a Carrera is really expensive, but the turbo is actually kind of a good value. Same thing with the Panamera. The V6 model is like 80 grand, so you're like, well, that's crazy, but the turbo model is 140, and the performance for dollars seems to balance out. That's because all that chassis work, all that research, all that R&D is put into the base model, and as they go up in engines and power and options and stuff like that, they only have to improve it incrementally. They don't have to re-engineer the whole thing from scratch. That's why the higher up the food chain you go, the better the value you're getting in terms of Porsches.
Enough about money, let's talk about how it drives.
There are 9 versions of the Panamera, and they are Base, Base 4, S, S4, Turbo, GTS, E-Hybrid, Diesel, and then Executive. 9. So you can really have it your way, just like a Whopper. And even though we're in the turbo right now, in the last 2 days, I have driven basically all of them, except the diesel, which we don't get in the US. And let me tell you, the new twin-turbo V6 in the S is fantastic. It's a great replacement for the 8, feels really punchy, and it'll be magnificent once it's got a tune on it. The GTS, which still uses the V8, feels the most like a race car. It's very direct. You just get instant torque, instant power, makes a crazy sound, all right? The hybrid, not my favorite, and I'll tell you why. Even though they put a ton of research into it, even though it works as advertised, and it's the only car that actually charges itself, the $100,000 hybrid market is limited to, honestly, one car. And it's not even a hybrid. I'm just talking about the Tesla. If you're going to spend 100 grand on a green car, you want everyone to know you've got a green car, and the Panamera hybrid looks just like the regular Panamera, not telling anyone that you've just spent that much money on a hybrid. And the Executive is just ridiculous. They add 6 inches of room in the back, all kinds of consoles and options, and the one I drove yesterday was $220,000. If you must have a chauffeur-driven sedan, that is the fastest chauffeur-driven sedan that money can buy. And it's cheaper than a Bentley, so I guess there's that. But I have chosen the turbo model. Why? Because it's the fastest. That's all. It's the fastest. It's still the fastest. In fact, of the new models of Panameras, it's the least interesting because it's the least changed. It's only got 20 more horsepower. It's got a few new features, but everything else kind of the same. But they were like, which one do you want to review? And I was like, the turbo, because it's the fastest. They have added sport exhaust. Oh, yes. Even though it's probably fake, even though they probably dumped fuel into the cats to get it to do that, it's delicious. And of course, 520 horsepower still goes like a mother. Yes.
It takes exactly one shift to remind you why PDK is the best transmission in the world.
PDK is awesome. It just gets better and better every generation, faster, smoother. I have a fleet of Italian sports cars in my warehouse in LA right now at Gotham Dream Cars, and this sedan shifts faster than all of them. And from what I've learned about PDK's launch control, it is the best launch control in the business. I don't want to say who told me, but a certain someone told me that PDK is designed for 3,000 launches. So what do you say we make it 2,999? Traction control is off, Sport Plus is engaged, left foot on the brake, right foot on the gas, spools up, and then you go. You have to do it in auto because it shifts out of first faster than you could do it. Oh, and that is miles an hour right there. Crazy. I love it. Here's the thing, though. Even though under here is the best gearbox in the world, or maybe it's in the back, wherever it is, it doesn't matter. You need to get the sport steering wheel because the sport steering wheel comes with normal paddles, right up, left, down. The standard steering wheel has those horrible push-pull things that are almost certain to guarantee that you end up in the wrong gear every single time. And I have a bit of a bone to pick with Porsche because their gear lever here is backwards. It's a Porsche. The race cars that they build are pull to shift up and push to shift down. How come this car isn't?
I will never understand. So basically what I'm saying is you must spend $500 on the proper steering wheel in order to make best gearbox in the world less infuriating. You get a choice of two kinds of brakes, the regular steel ones or, for $9,000, massive supercar grade ceramics. This one has the ceramics, but if I'm honest, you don't really need them. I mean, if you go to the track with your Panamera, which happens, like maybe, I don't know, maybe you need them, and if you habitually text and drive and those 20 milliseconds of stopping power are in between you and an involuntary manslaughter charge, okay, get the ceramics. Otherwise, the steel ones have better feel. They fade if you push them really hard, but around town they're less grabby, less squeaky, and they don't cost $90,000. Now, the thing is, the Panamera Turbo isn't for everybody. It is literally a supercar and a daily driver in one. I mean, the all-wheel drive system, the twin-turbo engine, the transmission, the brakes, the tires, the suspension, that's all supercar-grade stuff. And when you buy one of these, you're buying the supercar and the daily driver, and you're paying for them both. A lot of people would say, well, I could just have a 5 Series daily driver and have a Porsche for the weekends. You could do that, but not everybody wants 7 cars. Not everybody's me. Some people do want the one car that does everything. And this car does it all. Look, 4 people, total luxury, cross-country, no problem. Or 748 around the Nürburgring, 0 to 60 in 3.7, quarter mile in 12 flat, 190 mile an hour top speed, supercar stuff. And you can do all that in a car that weighs as much as a Nissan GTR with a Lotus 7 strapped to the roof. It defies physics. It defies your perceptions of what is possible in a sedan. And that comes at a price. Such is life. The Porsche purists might disagree with me, but I've always thought the Panamera works well with the brand. It works as a family hauler, it works as an executive saloon car, and it works as a sporty sedan. But most importantly, from the driver's seat of the 2014 Panamera Turbo, it works perfectly as a Porsche. I like having one of the world's best all-wheel drive systems because it seems to rain about every 9 seconds here. You never know what Oregon's going to throw at you. Oh, squirrel. Yes. That wasn't a yes for murder. That was a yes for survive.
Gotta be careful what
that was a yes for no murder. No squirrelicide today. Squirrelicide. Squirrelicide.
All right. Anything else you want to say in car?
Not really.
It's been 2 years to the day since we've seen this stretch of pavement. Last time we were here on the Pacific Coast Highway north of San Simeon, we brought a BMW 335, and it was good. Our hardcore fans will remember that episode well, as it was one of the last episodes ever filmed of our old show, Garage 419. What no one knows is why we chose the 335 on that day. It's because the M3 wasn't available.
2 years and 25,000 subscribers later, we've returned to the world's most famous coastal road with this, the BMW M3 Competition Coupe, the fastest production M3 that you can buy in America. And it's Alpine White, which is not only the favorite color of ALMS racing teams, but also of Jersey Shore Guidos. So it's got that going for it, which is nice.
If you can't see, you can't drive. It's why I hate the Camaro and why Lamborghinis come with backup cameras. It's also why I wear Dylan Optics sunglasses. They don't just look cool, they work. Their NIR technology reduces reflections within the lens, helping the world seem much, much more clear. Now we've partnered up with Dylan, and you can support your favorite online TV show at the same time you're protecting your eyes by going to thesmokingtire.com and ordering some Dylan sunglasses. If you do, I'll throw in a free Smoking Tire t-shirt on the house.
When I think of a BMW M3, I think of one word, a word which, by no coincidence, has been used by every single journalist to step behind the wheel of one: benchmark. The car by which all other sport coupes are judged. It's the 80s. 25 years ago, BMW designed the original M3 on the same principles that made early Ferraris great: race car first, street car second. That car, cherished today by collectors and drivers alike, continues to define the terms balance and feel, and journalists still refer to it as one of the best handling cars of all time.
But if you park that car next to this car, you'll realize exactly why it handles so well. There's nothing to it. Even a base spec Miata comes with more equipment than an E30 did.
The new M3, despite being half a ton fatter than the original go-kart E30, does have a few things going for it.
First, there's the horsepower. The E30 M3 made 195 horsepower in 1987. This one makes 425 with the M Performance exhaust. And the best part is, as the exhaust breaks in, the sound insulation inside it starts to break down, and it gets louder and more powerful over time. Listen to this.
And that's not all, because the M3's 4-liter V8 is made of aluminum. It's 33 pounds lighter than the old inline-6, which enthusiasts of the brand will tell you was made entirely of diamonds. And the V8's not just lighter and more powerful than the inline-6 it replaces, it also revs higher too. This thing goes to 8,300. But it may not be for long. If the rumors are true, then what we have here is the grand finale of normally aspirated M cars.
It's no secret that BMW is looking to turbochargers going forward for all of their M cars. The X6M, X5M, M5, 1 Series M, and the next generation M3 will all have twin turbo engines. And my brain agrees with that logic, because turbochargers are both more powerful and more efficient. But, and it's only one but, there is one good reason for keeping this V8. It's the sound it makes when you do this.
A BMW's strongest asset must always be the handling, the chassis tuning, and the steering, the way the driver interacts with the road. And the competition package only adds to that. It sits a half-inch lower and has a half-inch wider track. The CSL wheels with Michelin Pilot Sport tires don't just look good, they're functional. They're original equipment on the Europe-only M3 GTS and add ride quality and grip over whatever this thing comes with stock. Remember, the M3 is not a hardcore track junkie car, although it certainly has the chops to be. It's got a full, comfortable interior. It's for the driver who needs one car to do everything. Take him to work during the week, sit in traffic, run the kids around, go to the store, and then hit the canyons or the racetrack on the weekend. It's got to do all those things equally well. In the past, you had to press a complicated series of buttons in order to extract maximum potential out of the car's software, which never really sat right with me. Now, with the Competition Pack's M Dynamic mode, all I have to do is hit one button on the steering wheel and the car automatically goes into the maximum performance setting. I've got M Power on, electronic diff on race, shift times on silly quick, plus I get launch control. Here's how it works. M Power on, DSC off. It is literally as simple as mashing the gas. Rev up, there we go. With the Competition Pack, M Performance Pack, and Technology Pack, this thing's fully loaded, and it comes with a fully loaded price. This car's $75,000, almost 20 grand more than the price of a base M3. But I gotta say, after seeing how good it looks, hearing how good it sounds, and driving it, I don't think I'd order mine any other way. It's true that a $35,000 Mustang GT can keep up with an M3 on the racetrack, but you could also look at it this way. the M3 can keep up with a $95,000 Porsche Carrera. Still, numbers aren't what the M3 is really about anyway. The M3 has a level of feel about it where the complete package is more than just the sum of its parts. Even though it's nearly 2 tons, even though it's got flappy paddles and is stuffed with electronics, and even though it doesn't win any individual category outright, it comes second place and a very close second in nearly all measures of performance. The car just fits the driver like a glove. A Dan Marino glove, not an O.J. Simpson glove. I'm Matt Farah. This is the new M3 here on the Smoking Tire.
Brake on?
Parking brake on.
With the shifter in park and your foot off the brake pedal, turn, hit the on switch again. Okay, depress the accelerator twice, step on the brake pedal, and shift from park to neutral. With the shift selector in neutral and your foot off the brake pedal, fully depress the accelerator twice. Step on the brake pedal and shift from neutral to park with the B button. And with the shift selector in park and your foot off the brake pedal, fully depress the accelerator twice. Okay.
Holy shit!
Yep.
That worked!
Yep, and...
That's amazing!
Alright, now hit the brake pedal to turn the car on, and hit the on button. Alright, we're on.
Wow!
And it's purple?
Yeah, oh no.
You gotta hit it up once.
Oh. That's blue.
Let me... No, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Alright.
That's purple. Wow. We're just going to do a cold open on that maintenance mode. Okay, welcome to the Smoking Tire. We're in a Prius right now, and I'm excited because it's a modified Prius, and that sounds interesting to me. This is Jay. Welcome, sir.
Hi, guys.
Thank you for this. And you said, hey, Matt, I have a Prius that has been modified for autocross, and I could not resist. I had to. And so what you just showed me how to do there, or I couldn't even remember it, what we just did was put the car into maintenance mode. Why did we do that?
It bypasses the vehicle skid control and the traction control.
So to turn off traction control in this car, you have to do something that requires reading a list of steps, like and takes 30 seconds.
Yeah, like Grand Theft Auto.
But it can be done.
Yes.
Okay, and so immediately in this Prius, you notice the steering wheel, which you said is from Japan.
Yes.
And it's just the funniest steering wheel, and your shifter buttons here, which are from Japan as well, right?
Yes.
So do I want to go in B? For
yes.
Full regen.
Yes,
B is the full regeneration mode, right?
Yeah.
Am I in B?
I think you need.
Oh, I have to be D and then
B?
B.
Yes.
D and then B. Okay. Well, parking brake off. Let's drive a Prius. I'm very interested. So how specifically have you modified your Prius?
It has Megan coilovers. This is the R&D test car for them. And
okay.
It has the TRD rear sway bar,
okay.
the Tanabe front strut tower bar, every single Cusco brace they have, and one that I custom made to fit off the Prius V, the larger wagon, into the back trunk segment. So it has like a whole ladder of braces on the bottom.
So essentially, this car has been stiffened in every possible way it could be stiffened.
Yes.
Whoa. Yeah, and I just felt it right there. Why a Prius? Like, why would you do this?
So I had a Lancer Evolution that unfortunately got into an accident, and I didn't want to pick up another guy's can of worms and start again from where I was. The car was tuned by Road Race Engineering, made at close to 440 hub horsepower on E85. And I was like, well, I'm still going to school. Well, I was going to school at the time, and I'd buy a car that didn't kill my left foot on the freeway in traffic. So then I figured I was going to buy something that I couldn't make fast.
You can't take the speed out of the man. You need to... People who modify can never just let a Prius go. But I see where you're coming from. I genuinely do.
And so do you compete in autocross events with this thing?
I've done about 3 of them or so just as a hobby, but I do have 2 other project cars that I'm working on the side, but this is just the daily driver for me.
Okay. What are your project cars?
I have a 05 Lotus Elise. And I also have a 96 993.
Oh, there you go.
911, which I plan on doing a wide body on it.
Ah, well, so all right. So this isn't, you know, we've done other cars that were similarly modified, you know, vanilla cars, and it was like the guy's last hope of having fun. This is just your runaround car that you've tried to play with a bit while your other cars are being worked on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's fair enough. I get it. So we're gonna go down Decker, and since all you've done is make this thing handle, since you can't make it fast, we'll see if it handles. I can't help but feel a little bit like I'm in a cab though. Like I just Uber. I can't help it. It's bouncy. It is stiff, and you have to input a lot of steering. It's almost like it's a car from the 90s and how much steering you have to put in to get it to load up. There's like nothing happening here, but if you load it up, I bet we've caught an Accord. Oh. It's very stiff. What happens if your autocross is slightly bumpier?
You feel everything in the cabin.
No kidding. This Accord is gonna ruin my day. Will you pull off for me? I mean, I know I'm in a Prius, but they're the only, like, when you're in a Ferrari, they will not pull out of your way. I think when you're in a Prius, they're in even less of a rush to pull out of your way. But if they don't move over by the next corner, we're going to pause and wait for them to clear, because I don't want to sit behind an Accord. Yeah, they're not going to pull over. I can tell. Okay, we'll wait for them to clear. What we're going to do is we're going to pause, but for you, it's going to be like we never left. Okay, we're back. Here we go. Let's try it again. Prius handling. Downhill. Traction control is off. What kind? Oh, there is some rub. What kind of tires do you have?
Toyo T1S.
Oh, is that rub?
That's rubbing against the plastic liner.
Oh, look what's happening here with this Jeep. What are you doing? Did I feel torque steer right there for a second? Was that actual torque steer?
You may have. Your throttle's completely going from 0 to 100 thanks to the Apex throttle controller.
Oh yeah. So what does an Apex throttle controller do in a Prius?
Well, all cars with drive-by-wire have limited torque steer, or well, not torque steer, but limited throttle opening capabilities. Okay. So when you press the accelerator, you really aren't getting 100% the minute you press it. But on this car, the minute you press the go pedal, it opens the butterfly up all the way.
So also known as the Apex transmission life shortener.
Yes.
Pretty much. Oh! What, have you done anything to the brakes?
Stock brakes.
Oh! Yeah. Is it worth it? I mean, you know, I'm just curious because, you know, the sacrifice to ride quality and rub and stuff like that, is it, do you feel like you've improved your Prius, or do you feel like you've ruined your Prius?
I feel as if I should probably pull the fenders in the front, but I didn't want to do anything that's not reversible.
Call RWB, I'm sure they'd be down for that.
Ironically, my Instagram screen name is Rawwell.
Oh no. Are you going to do RWB on your Porsche?
It's up in the air at the moment. It's either doing the OEM GT2 body kit, which is a lot more subtle.
This is full throttle, by the way, in case those at home were wondering if I was going full throttle. The answer to that is yes. Yes, I am. And it's screaming up this hill. Oh, look at that. Well, it does have some grip. Can you wear noise-canceling headphones and then you can't hear the rub? It's got grip. Once you load it up, it does have some grip. Oh, it's a bouncy though. And now we're stuck behind a Jeep. This is why I don't try not to film on Sundays anymore. Oh, too many people. Then again, wow, nice cut there from the Jeep. But is this the most reliable car in the world, right? It just always works all the time?
Yeah, you don't really need to worry about maintenance or anything. 10,000 mile interval oil changes, and
even with your throttle controller going full throttle immediately?
Well, I do. Oh, the car only has 30,000 miles, so
thanks, Jeep.
I do kind of double up on Toyota's suggested maintenance just because of the more aggressive, spirited driving style on the car. But even then, it's like a nominal cost to.
Yeah, no, these things are stupid cheap. Yeah, here we go. I keep going, here we go, as if I'm about to go full throttle, and then I realize I'm already there. Is there a Q7 press launch? That was 2 new Q7s going by. Someone's doing a press drive and hasn't invited me, which is probably why I'm driving a Prius today. Just kidding. Does it get weird for you to not have gauges right in front?
It does. You're always expecting, a tachometer or something.
Yeah,
like,
and it's
anything.
just not there. Like, how about no gauges? You get no gauges at all. Except the thing that goes up and down based on throttle position that tells you you're not getting good fuel economy.
Yeah, that's all you get. But currently, since we bypassed the traction control, it's kind of hidden.
Dude, this is full throttle.
And even with all this romping, you're still getting 40 miles per gallon.
Who cares? If you want to go fast, who cares if you get 30 or 40? I don't get it. I'm sorry. I get it for you. I don't get it. It doesn't seem worth it to me because I had a Volt, and it was a great daily. But if I did this to the Volt, I'd kind of feel like I ruined it. I don't know. I'm not trying to insult you. It's your car, but it rubs a lot. It's a Prius. Why?
I figure if I downsize the tires to 225s, then it probably wouldn't rub, but then you gotta avoid potholes.
Oh, alright. Well, hey, it's a Prius. Oh look, I think I have some regen. I coasted down that hill and then I felt like I had a little more horsepower. Did that mean I got some regen back?
Yeah, you may have.
Yes. I like the idea of regen, but I wish it was just on a button where I could go zoom. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
just save it and then press it, get your boost.
Yeah, curves. All cars, if you're gonna have a battery, it should also have curves. I can't believe what you have to go through to get the traction control off in this car. And for what? Oh wow, look at that. That was a wood paneled car towing a trailer that was also made of wood. The only way to get more wood is to buy a Morgan. Well, it does have grip. I will give you that. The last Prius I drove didn't have any grip, and this has grip. And also, this steering wheel is amazing. This is the funniest steering wheel I've ever seen. It's great. It's just fully oblong. That's amazing. And thank God for air conditioning. Woo!
Yes.
Thanks, Jay.
No problem.
Check out how Jay modified his Prius on his wheel well page. It's interesting. I mean, if you want to make a Prius handle, it handles. I am certainly speechless. I got nothing left. See you guys.
If you saw this car going down the road in this shade of mystic green, you wouldn't give it a second look. Trust me, I drove it for a week and I was invisible. Maybe, just maybe, someone would notice the badge and ask if now, do they make a Malibu SS or something? Because if they aren't immediately next to each other, this car looks exactly like a Malibu. There was once a time, and by once I mean of course right now, that SS was a trim level, not an entire car. But now SS means the whole thing, bumper to bumper. Apparently, not only did Chevrolet not want to spend money styling this car, but also they didn't feel like naming it. But look closer and you start to spot key bits of information that help you put together the puzzle of the SS. The front view is decidedly AMG-like, with wheel arches poking out rather far. Hiding underneath those Middle America chrome wheels is a massive set of Brembo brakes, with Z-rated Bridgestones as a wrapping. And of course, what sets the Chevrolet SS apart is where the power comes from, and then where the power goes. The last time a Chevrolet sedan packed a Corvette engine under the hood and sent the power out the back was more than 15 years ago. And though the Impala SS of the mid-90s wasn't, well, very good, it absolutely dripped attitude from every monstrous panel gap. That's why I've invited my old friend Larry Casilla, world-famous detailer and Impala SS owner, out to California to share his thoughts on the new SS that is most certainly not an Impala. But before we get to rambling, I do feel it's important to note that although the SS isn't exactly a looker, and although it doesn't have a very creative name, it seems that it does come with a pretty stellar set of pipes.
In late 2000, I became part of the Chevy SS family by buying a 1995 Chevy Impala SS. Now, it doesn't have the most horsepower, it certainly doesn't handle all that well either, but what it does have is emotion. It's got this feeling. I feel like Batman when I get in the car. I just love it.
This is the 2014 Chevy SS, also known as the 2008 Pontiac G8. Slightly new, it's also slightly old. It's got an LS3 under the hood, it's got a 6-speed automatic transmission with paddle shifters, and it's got a new interior with what is honestly a pretty nice dash layout. Got the same excellent nav system, multimedia system that I have in the Volt. Really like it, very easy to use. It's got some of the new buttons you see in the C7 Corvette.
There's a nice bit of space in between the HVAC system and the shifter, so you can put your iPhone or a bunch of gadgets or what have you over here.
It's got quite a bit of horsepower and torque, 415 of each. It's got a really nice sound from that LS3 engine.
It's got a little bit of a K-envelope that reminds me of old Mustangs and things like that. And I said, okay, this is starting to fire a little bit more emotion. And then I get behind the wheel. Wildly surprising is the suspension. It's incredibly stiff.
It's got good steering feel. It's got big Brembo brakes that I like very much. And the chassis is well sorted and quite rigid at this point.
If I'm in New York, you know, this might be a little tough because of the potholes, but out here in LA, it feels pretty good.
I'm bummed you don't get magnetic ride, but something tells me if they keep this thing around for a couple more years, you might. You also might see the LT1 and the new 8-speed if they keep this thing around.
It's such a heavy car. It really does handle well.
I don't know why, if a Corvette has a round steering wheel, why the SS would need a flat bottom wheel. That's a little strange. But the thickness is nice. The leather's nice. It feels good in my hands.
The brakes are absolutely fantastic as well. For such a heavy car, I mean, it handles surprisingly well.
A lot of mid-range torque as you're winding it up and down the rev range. It's got a heads-up display, sort of like the BMWs, and Dylan Optics not really affecting it, actually. It still works, even though I'm wearing double polarized sunglasses by Dylan Optics.
This car is actually hammered. Oops.
The seats are very comfortable, although I don't know what they're doing with these little fake hole things here. Those are not good at all.
And if I pull real hard, I can pop them off. That kind of bothers me because Chevy spent money on that for some reason.
It mows through gas. I mean, the window sticker says 1421. I don't think it's been that good. I got an onboard computer. What am I getting? 14 average. I've been driving this car for a week and I've been averaging 14. So right at the bottom of what they say it'll do.
Now I'm out here shooting a bunch of videos, driving all over the place, and Matt was kind enough to let me borrow the car for a couple of days, and I have all my luggage, my film gear, everything. The trunk is pretty huge. Tons of room back here.
It's a nice place to be. There's a lot of room. There's a big trunk. It's comfortable. It rides well.
Oh, on the highway, it's great. I mean, besides devouring fuel, it's super comfortable. It feels great. I like this stiff ride personally because it makes me feel like I'm driving a race car.
The best thing about the SS is that it's great value for money. 45 grand in one of the German cars buys you a base model, 4-cylinder turbo, 200 and some odd horsepower. Here, it gets you a usable back seat, rear-wheel drive, limited slip diff, and a Corvette engine.
It's great. I think it's awesome. It's just, I don't know, I'm just missing something.
What it is missing is cool. Honestly, the SS isn't cool. It looks like a Malibu. To a car guy, they're interested in it, but no one on the street will look at you and go, yeah, that guy, he knows something. He's got something. It just looks, from the outside, like a rental car. And for $4,000 or $5,000 more, you could have a Chrysler 300 SRT that performs similarly to this, a little softer, a little cushier, maybe doesn't handle quite as well, but certainly as quick in a straight line, as nice sounding, as powerful, and gangster looking for just a few $1,000s more. If it were me, I would go that route because I would like something that's kind of cool. And this is a great sleeper, great daily driver, and a good car. It's just not cool. That then is what holds the SS back from becoming an icon. It sounds good, it's fast, it gets around corners, and it's screwed together tightly with nice materials, all at a great price. But it loses in the one area you really want a car like this to win: attitude. It doesn't have any. Our advice: go custom. Start with the SS and go to town at the body and wheel shop, turning this family screamer into the Darth Vader of sedans. The way to make it cool is very simple. Make it black.
Alright, Larry, you gotta do a burnout. Find a spot for you to do a burnout. Here works. Very good. Big burnout, Larry.
How did he do it? In
manual?
Is it manual?
Yep.
First?
Yep. More gas. More gas.
You can do burnouts in this car, that is for sure.
Today we're up in the mountains of Malibu at the intersection of two great driving roads. And we've got two great driving cars here. The 2010 Audi S4, and my buddy Craig brought along his 2007 Audi RS4.
My first experience in a B6 S4, I fell in love with the Audi brand so much I actually went out and bought the RS4. So I say we go drive both these cars and figure out the 5 things we like about each car and the 5 things we don't like about each car.
Sounds like a plan. You know, the worst car buying decision I ever made in my life was selling my B6 S4 for an H1 Hummer, and we don't even have to get started with that, but the point is, everyone is going to miss the V8, but we got to find out, is this the right direction for Audi in their S4 and RS4 sedans going forward? So what do you say we hit the road?
Perfect day for it, let's hit it.
I'm Matt Farah, that's Craig, and you're watching The Smoking Tire.
All right, so I'm sitting inside the 2010 Audi S4, and I gotta tell you, the first good thing about this car is the interior kicks ass. Very Porsche 997-ish. Soft, supple leather throughout. The steering wheel is leather wrapped. Everything lays at hand. It's really, really well done. Probably the best Audi has ever done in a passenger sedan.
The smaller engine has managed to achieve 26 if you count the window sticker, and on a recent road trip, Tom and I were able to get 22, driving considerably faster than the cafe testers. The third great thing about the S4 is Audi's new active sport differential, which is a torque vectoring system, sends power exactly where you need it. So you can get back on the gas really early through a corner and have the system sort out the rest. It really makes the car stick like glue, especially in the dynamic mode, which we're using right now. It can send up to 100% of the power to any wheel.
Number 4 on the list is subtle styling. Unless you're an Audi file, looking at this car, you wouldn't know what it is. It's subtle enough to fly under the radar with the cops, but flashy enough so that anybody who knows anything about cars knows that this isn't a typical run-of-the-mill vanilla A4.
The fifth great thing about the S4, and perhaps the most important thing, is that it's cheaper than the last one, it's faster than the last one, it's lighter than the last one, and I have to say, it's better than the last S4. And that's what it's all about. But it's not all good news. Here are the 5 things we don't like about the new S4. First off, although the 6 is great, it doesn't sound like a V8, and it never could.
The second thing we hate about the Audi S4 is what I call the nagging navigation wife. I had an ex-wife that wouldn't shut up when I drove, neither will the navigation system on this thing. You want to tell me to turn left once, maybe a second gentle reminder after that, STFU.
The third bad thing about it is that, like all Audis before it, it burns more oil than it really should. After about a 1,500-mile road trip in this car, we had to add a quart of oil because the car wouldn't shut up about it.
The fourth thing on the list of dislikes is that the exhaust note is a little tepid. Perhaps I'm used to the snarling V8 on the RS4, but at street level, and don't let our microphones fool you, it's a little weak, kind of a jet engine kind of sound, not really that visceral sound that we love so much.
Our final thing that we don't like about the S4 is that the body of this car simply looks better in wagon form. The lines are better and the butt is less droopy. But sadly, we can't buy a wagon S4 in the US, which sucks because that would make the best sleeper car ever. Now I'm going to throw it over to Craig, and he's going to start off the 5 things that we love about the RS4.
Now we're in my car, the 2007 Audi RS4. The first thing that Matt and I can agree upon is that this is the top of the line flagship from Audi. Doesn't get any better than this. And that in itself is the #1 reason we love this car.
Number 2, because of the RS4's classic styling, it actually has a very low douchebag factor, unlike that other German sports sedan.
The third reason we love this car is its dynamic ride control and all-wheel drive handling. It goes where you point it, it does what you tell it to do.
Number 4, it has a deceptively big interior. Lots of headroom and legroom in the front and back, and a really big trunk. It can hold so much stuff, it's like you were that close to being a wagon.
The fifth and final thing Matt and I both love about this car is that the car has 60,000 miles on it, and its fit and finish is still superb and rattle-free, even after all the abuse we've thrown at this car. And although it's my baby and I've had it for 60,000 miles, in that amount of time, I've identified a few quirks that I really dislike about the car. First thing I dislike about this car is a navigation system. The RNSE is a pain in the ass to work. It's not very intuitive. Even the early Lexuses were better than this thing.
The number 2 thing we don't like about the RS4 is that at 3,900 pounds, it's still pretty heavy, and with the V8 up there, a lot of that weight is in the nose, which you really notice at low-speed corners.
Third thing we dislike about this car is the stereo system. It's a Bose, and the joke is, no highs, no lows, absolutely must be Bose, but either way, it freaking blows.
The fourth thing about the RS4 kind of gets me is the fact that it's about $25,000 more than an S4. And is it $25,000 better than the S4? Definitely not.
The last thing I dislike about this car is one little interior ergonomic feature, and that's the armrest. You always, every time you get in the car to get the armrest all the way down, the e-brake has to be fully off. Seriously? You couldn't fix that before it left the factory? No matter what car you drive, even the finest cars, you're going to find things that you like. You're going to find a few things you dislike. Now we're going to cut to the roadside and give you our final thoughts on these 2 great vehicles.
We've had a great day on this road driving these 2 great cars, and I gotta say, I like them both. It's really hard to choose.
Well, Matt, you can get about 90% of the performance of the RS4 in that car for about 60% of the price. You can't go wrong either way.
You really can. It shows you just how far Audi's come in a couple years. The car is lighter on its feet, it gets better fuel economy, and when you run them out, the performance is really, really there. but you could pick up a used RS4 for what you'd spend for a new S4.
Yeah, but Matt, you get the warranty with that car.
I know, we all know that when you're buying a German sports sedan, especially a high-performance one like the RS4, the warranty really does go a long way because out-of-warranty repairs can be very expensive. Either way, you can't go wrong. Two great cars. Craig, have we had fun today or what?
We did, but I'm keeping mine. I've been with her 3 years and I'm still in love with her.
Yeah, and this one doesn't belong to me. I gotta have something to give back to the press agency. I'm Matt, that's Craig. We've had fun today up on these canyons, and I'll see you guys next week.
It's like Walmart had a sale on gears.
It's a fobgina. I don't know what else to call it. The Evo bends the earth to its will.
This car is impossible to drive slowly.
You know, guys, like some of you were probably surprised to learn last week that I don't know the first thing about working on a car. I'm constantly surprised at how few people know how to clean their own cars properly. So today, for this two-part episode, we're at BBI Autosport, one of my favorite places. We've got the choices of all these beautiful cars here. They're all disgusting and they all need cleaning. But why should I be bothered to clean their cars when my car needs attention too? So we've got my car. I've got my 98 Corvette here. I love this car very, very much. I've gotten it dirty just so we can clean it here for you guys. And in this two-part episode, we're going to show you how to properly clean your car from the wash all the way through to the detail. But before we start cleaning this car, I think we're going to need some products. Ooh, absorber, synthetic chamois. I like that one better than the real leather. It's cheaper too. Oh, wheel cleaner. Definitely need some wheel cleaner, so I'm going to take my wheels off and clean them. Clay bar kit, part of the 1, 2, 3 detail. Your clay bar, polish, and wax. That's definitely a must. Some applicator pads, get some extras, some white towels to dry off the wheels with. Oh, aerosol tire wet spray, that's my fave. Oh, Black Magic Bullet. That's gonna be to clean the exhaust. It's nice shape for buffing out the inside of my chrome exhaust. And protectant for the interior, which is a lovely shade of plastic. That should do it. All right, let's get to work.
Take matters in your own hands. Keep that car running better, longer. Do everything you can to make sure a small job doesn't turn into a costly one. And AutoZone is the one place with the expertise and tools you need to do the job right the first time. Because do it yourself doesn't mean you have to do it alone. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
All right. First things first, you gotta get the car wet. My biggest problem with this car is not dirt so much as it is bugs. Lots of them in California, and when you drive fast, they get stuck on there. So I've got some bug and tar remover, and this will get all the really nasty stuff off. So you wanna be pretty liberal with this stuff on the hood. And it's a pre-wash, so you do it before you wash. Just get it all over there. And then if you're the type of guy that likes to do burnouts, you're probably going to want to put some behind your wheel arches as well, because odds are there's some leftover rubber on there from the last time you lit them up, and as you can see there is. And this will just help get that stuff right off. And then what you do afterwards is you get a bucket of soapy water and this guy right here. This is just a sponge, but it's wrapped in a netting, and it adds a bit of an abrasive thing to get those bugs and the tar off your car. Regular old car washing soap. I like Black Magic stuff. A, because they sponsor the show, and B, because their products are actually good. I wouldn't plug them if I didn't think their products actually worked. We're not using any professional detailing products, so this is all stuff that you can do at home. And now that our bug and tar gel has set in, we're going to rinse it off with the soap and the sponge. Oh, look, I got a hole in the bucket. this stuff. Look at that, and it just comes right off. If you don't get bugs off quickly, like we've seen happen in Florida where they've got the love bugs, the chitin in the bugs shells can really eat through your paint. So you really want to get the bugs off as quickly and easily as possible. Oh yeah, look at that. Tell me that stuff doesn't work, huh? That's why this sponge is like $2. It's totally worth having, and it lasts a long, long time. All right. Now that we've prepared our car by removing the bug and tar, it's time we actually wash this thing. I use what we call the 2-bucket system, where I keep my clean water in here and then my dirty water in there. So as I wash, I rinse out the mitt in this bucket before getting soap back on it. That's how we avoid scratches. So I'm just going to go right to it. Right about now, you're probably wondering what's actually underneath the hood of this car, and I will tell you. 98 Corvette stock bottom end, but it's got pretty much everything else on it that you can do to a normally aspirated car. It's got head work, exhaust work, intake work, software, fuel system work. Makes about 420 horsepower at the wheels. It's also got coilover suspension, sway bars, a roll bar, all kinds of good stuff in terms of suspension and handling, because let's face it, stock Corvettes are not exactly known for their handling. Also got these beautiful wheels from Performance Industries in New York. My friend George made them just for me. Only set in the world, gotta love it. Another important thing to note when you're washing your car, people always make this mistake of putting the mitt on the ground. You don't even know what's on the ground. There's rocks, there's sticks, there's dirt. Every time you put your mitt on the ground, you just pick all that stuff right up. So I'm really emphasizing the 2-bucket system to clean your car. Keep it nice without ruining your paint in the process. That's how I keep the original, extremely high quality GM paint on this car. When you're doing your really dirty parts, like your exhaust tips and your wheels, oftentimes soap isn't enough, and you really don't want to use your normal mitt because it'll just ruin the mitt. So I've got a second mitt, and I'm actually using some of this Black Magic wheel cleaner, which is one of my favorite products they have. It's really meant for aluminum wheels, but it works equally well on stainless steel exhausts. My car makes more black stuff than most people's cars. I don't have what you call catalytic converters. Wheel cleaner at work. Then we just hose that right off. Now that our car is washed off but wet, we're going to use my favorite tool, the clay bar. Stuff looks like silly putty, and what this does is it removes all the imperfections from your paint, all the stuff you can't see and that you can't wash off, but that you can feel. When you feel the paint, you can feel that it's got some roughness to it. And then when we use the clay bar, we're going to take all that away. So what you want to do is grab some quick detailer, whatever your brand is that you like, and just spray the whole car, because this stuff needs a lubricant to work, right? Be really liberal. Ooh, it smells like cinnamon, doesn't it? You can be really liberal with this stuff because it's just like a lubricant, a wax, liquid wax. You can use soapy water if you want, but I find that this stuff works better. And then you make a little pancake out of this guy, and you just rub it. Just rub it right along there. Not too much pressure, just nice, even motions back and forth, all over. And then I'm going to show you how well this works, because it gets dirty, right? It's pulling all the imperfections off the paint. So all you do is knead it back up, like some silly putty, and now you have a clean surface again. And now you just start the process all over until you do the whole car. I'm using the absorber, which is a synthetic chamois. You can use the real ones or the fake one. Doesn't matter, as long as you want to use a chamois of some kind, not just a regular towel to dry the car. It gets it done faster because it absorbs more water. Doesn't scratch your paint like a dirty towel might if your towel's not perfectly clean. And it just helps you smooth the process out, streamline it a little bit. Here's the move. And just drag it right across. That's all you gotta do. I went to one of those cheerleader charity car washes once. The girl put the mitt on the ground and then washed my car, and I literally had a scratch the whole way down the car, like a loop format. It was the worst. So don't ever put anything you're gonna rub on your car, don't ever put it on the ground or any dirty surface for that matter, because whatever's on that surface is gonna end up rubbing right into your paint. Okay. Now we are washed. We're going to finish our wash by doing the glass and then vacuuming the car. Honestly, if I need to tell you how to use one of these devices, you have a much bigger problem than I can help you with. But we're getting it done. All right, now that we've vacuumed, we're going to finish it off with a little bit of glass cleaning. There's no rocket science to cleaning windows. Everyone's done it. Use glass cleaner and a microfiber and it's done. The key is if you have tinted windows like I do, you want to use ammonia-free glass cleaner because some glass cleaners that use ammonia will eat right through your tinted windows and you've now wasted money and your windows look like crap. So now that I have my ammonia-free glass cleaner, I can go to work. It's easy when you have no door frame to clean the window. Obviously, GM has spent a lot of time engineering this beautiful plastic interior, just full of injection molding. So we're going to use some of this ProShine interior protectant. It's meant for plastic and vinyl surfaces, and we certainly have plenty of those in the Corvette. So this stuff goes right on. Quick on and a quick right off. Just gets your dust off. I don't like, some like car washes and detail shops will use Armor All or something else that's like real shiny. I can't stand that. The car didn't come shiny. I certainly don't want it to look shiny. And when this stuff dries, it'll dry in the perfect stock finish without that greasiness that most of us who are into cars can't stand. Well, thanks for joining us on part 1 of our car care special. Part 2, we're going to take it a step further with polishing compound, wax, cleaning the inside of our wheels, and getting the pit marks out of our windows. I'm Matt Zack. You've been watching The Smoking Tire. Join us next week. This should be really neat. I've been waiting several months since I saw that. I was like, gotta do it. This is Keith Tanner. Thank you for coming down, sir, from Flying Miata out of Grand Junction, Colorado.
That's it.
And all the way down here with this brand new ND Miata with a V8 in it.
That's the way it's meant to be.
You guys have been in business for many years. I've heard your name for at least 5 years.
We've been around longer than there have been Miatas.
Have you really?
Yeah, we have.
What were you flying Capri before or something?
We were a Porsche, Audi, Volkswagen service shop.
Oh, that's so funny.
One of our customers brought in a Miata in '89 and said, "You got to check this out." And the boss bought one and put a turbo on it with 1,800 miles on the car.
And that was Flying Miata.
And Flying Miata started, yeah.
That's a crazy story. That's awesome. I love that. So this is the new Miata. Everyone, the new MX-5. Everyone's about it. And of course, you guys straight to the V8.
We knew it was going to have to happen. We're working on 4-cylinder stuff as well, and suspension, and everything else. But everyone wants to see the V8.
So this is an LS3.
It is
with some basic modifications to it. Different cam you mentioned.
Yeah, it's a crate engine that GM sells. It's called the LS376 525,
which is horsepower. Horsepower at the crank.
Horsepower at the crank.
And you said this car weighs 2,600 pounds and makes 450 at the rear wheels.
Right around there, yeah.
This is going to be awesome. Let's go. I got to see what that's like. We're going to go this way because we're not going to go on the super million mile an hour road. We're going to make sure that the balance is maintained. Gearbox, you said T56 Magnum, right?
That's right.
The sound is
The whole drivetrain is
Let's
built
put
for
the
it.
windows up so we can get audio while we're going. The whole drivetrain's built for this, right?
It's built for a 4,000-pound car, so it's completely under stress, which is kind of nice.
This is going to be very nice. Wow, this works perfectly.
That's the goal.
This is fantastic. The shifter even feels nice. Okay. All right, right away, this feels like it could come like this, and I would be very pleased. So this kit, you say, is 50 G's plus a Miata.
Yeah, that's a turnkey car.
Turnkey, out the door, ready to go.
Yeah, and that includes suspension and brake upgrades, all the fuel upgrades, cooling. It's a brand new car built in a Miata shell.
So I saw Willwood brakes, 6-piston, right?
6-piston on the front, 4-piston on the rear.
And then what do you have for suspension in here?
It is a Fox Racing suspension.
Like off-road Fox Racing, same company?
Same company.
Really?
Do you know they won the Indy 500 back in the 80s?
No, I didn't know that at all.
They have quite a history.
Really?
And a lot of the big pro touring guys, ride check shocks for pro touring, those are Fox.
Oh, that's so interesting. I didn't know that.
They've got more road capability than you think.
I guess so, because what you haven't done is ruin the ride. It still rides very nice.
Well, the guys at Fox understand our philosophy that a suspension has to move to work.
Yeah.
So
I completely agree with you.
We're big believers in suspension travel.
It has to suspend.
Yeah. We have 7.5 inches of travel on the rear shocks on this car.
No way. This is so composed. You get in this car and you think it's going to be like a want you dead car, but if you're smooth with your inputs, it just drives beautifully.
That's a lot harder than building a car that'll kill you.
So you said this is roughly the same power to weight as a new Z06.
Roughly, yeah. We're sitting on right about 5 pounds per horsepower.
And there is no traction or stability control.
No, that's up to you.
My right foot.
We call it organic traction control.
Driver mod.
It's got a lot of mechanical grip. We've worked hard on getting that down.
Yeah, you said you've got basically the biggest wheels and tires you can fit on a Miata, right?
Yeah, as much rubber as we can squeeze under here without everything rubbing on everything.
That's no bueno.
The diff comes out of a Camaro. It's a real positive traction.
What's the final drive?
Oh, it's either a 3.4 or a 3.7 on this car. I forget which.
Dude, it's so nice and balanced. This is great.
That's the beauty of starting with a Miata. You've got such a great canvas to start with.
And how much more does this car weigh than a basic Miata?
This car, when it was new, weighed 2,330 pounds.
And
it now weighs 24, so 270 pounds.
Oh, so when you said 2,600 pounds, that's with driver?
No, that's before driver.
Oh, okay.
But that's wet, full tank of fuel.
Full tank of fuel, right, okay. Wow, there is a lot to like here, Keith. This is very good. And you've converted the steering from electric to hydraulic, which is interesting. When I moved it around the parking lot, I immediately was like, oh, this is heavier. But now that I'm out driving, it doesn't feel significantly different anymore from a regular Miata.
It should feel familiar. Actually, when you drive the Miata back to back, the Miata starts feeling a little more alien because it's got that electric power steering. This is a good old school hydraulic rack. It's what we've been used to for the last 30, 40 years.
I mean, the idea of fitting a big V8 into this is, decades old. The Cobra is the go-to, but this is just lovely. Oh, that's going to be a problem on the way back, isn't it?
Well, the blues aren't a new idea either, but there's still lots of great blues music being written. Why should it be any different with cars?
Touché. It's just got such a wide power band. You can rev it or not rev it. It kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's all the torque all the time.
And it's not insanely loud either. It's loud enough that, I know there's something going on back there, but it's not shouty.
No, and that's the guys who are buying these things. They're not looking to drive for 15 minutes at a time and put them away. sort of car, a lot of our customers who buy these V8 cars, they're driving them across the country. So
I could daily this car.
Yeah.
If you know, my only problem with Miatas is that the window switch placement down here bruises my left knee.
Right.
That is the only thing that would keep me from dailying one of these.
You could probably swap in the door panels from the Fiat because it's the same door. So.
Oh, really? Is it the switch
different.
What's the red line of this thing?
66.
I haven't really had to go anywhere near it so far. There's just so much torque.
This thing's got more than 400 foot-pounds of torque from 2,800 to redline. So 4,000 RPM with 400 foot-pounds.
Oh, look, lucky us.
Yeah, look at that.
Truck out of our way. Hello, sir. I mean, it seems like the kind of car that would be just so mental, but then you drive it, and it's so sorted and refined, and it makes so much sense.
That's what surprises people when they drive them. You know, they have this idea that it's going to be a nose-heavy killer.
No, it's got really good balance. And you mentioned that you managed to use the standard pedal box, which I know from a recent engine swap car that oftentimes you have to swap the pedal box for the CAN bus or whatever to work right.
Right. Yeah, the CAN bus has been a lot of fun. That's been quite a learning experience with this car.
Is this your first CAN bus build?
It's our first one that we've managed to work this well. We're working with a company called MRS Electronics, and there's a little magic box in there that blocks some CAN signals, that translates some CAN signals, that lets some through. They're the first guys who can really deliver on what all the CAN guys promised that we found.
Well, it does need to be said that although there is no traction or stability control, the radio works, the push button start and keyless entry, that all works. There's no AC in this car, but that's only because apparently the compressor from GM is back ordered. All the other hardware is there, so once the compressor comes in, you can totally have air conditioning in this car.
We'll have automatic climate control in it, yeah. We do on our earlier cars.
I want to keep this.
And the weight distribution, I mentioned earlier, the nose heavy thing, it goes from 53% front to 54% front. It's actually got a better front to rear distribution than a Fiat 124 Spider does. So it's a very balanced car.
This car is the jam, dude. Oh, I love it. It flows, you know, it's got great balance, and you can dance it back and forth, or you can just roll into the power and just be screaming.
That's the thing, you don't want to lose the Miata when you do this, right?
This is the chassis tuning. It feels just like a Miata. Maybe a little flatter in the corners, not quite as much roll, but oh, that's great.
And you're just cruising along at 4,000 RPM. What are we just stuck in fourth gear here?
There was 6. That was the first time I crossed 6.
The T56 box has got such a high 6th gear that when you're on the highway, 70 miles an hour, you're only turning 2,000 RPM.
So you could probably get some kind of fuel economy if you wanted to. This works so well together. And did you consider any other V8s besides the LS?
We looked at the LT, and we pulled some of our existing customers, and they wanted the LS because of the existence.
I don't know. I didn't want to go into 5th for some reason.
Oh,
but
it's a really narrow gate into 5th. It's
Okay.
easy to try to go too far.
Something about me and Miatas in 5th gear. I don't know.
This car's got a mechanical lockout and reverse. The production ones we built for our customers have electronics, so it'll be easier to hit 5th.
Jesus, the torque. When you roll into it in 4th gear, I mean,
just pulls.
It really does pull like a Z06. It's awesome. And it's so small and light. Great. Wow, this is just wonderful.
A great road.
Isn't it? Isn't this beautiful?
This is the perfect car for this road.
This really is just a canyon beast. And even, I mean, you take the stickers off it, it's kind of a sleeper too, isn't it?
That's why we had to put the stickers on it.
Right?
Otherwise, nobody has any idea.
Wow, let me flip around right here. This How's the turning radius? Oh, it's excellent.
Same as stock.
It's excellent. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What do you think the top speed of this thing is?
You know, we've never tested.
You should. What do you think happens at like 150 in this car?
I'm thinking the front end's probably going to get a little light. I might want to do a little work on that before we go for Bonneville.
On your way out, you should go by El Mirage and see how it goes.
I'm going to drive by Bonneville on the way home. No, it's
the clutch is very light.
It should do. I think it's geared for right around 205th gear. And the power, top up, windows, mirrors folded in, it actually might be good for it. We did the math a few years back.
If you went 200 miles an hour with one of these things, the roof would rip right off the car.
You wouldn't have to install a seatbelt. You need a trailer hitch.
You see me mash the gas there to entertain that Subaru driver? What is, so there's just, when it's coming down off compression, there's just a very slight vibration.
A little bit of a buzz, yeah.
Just a little bit of a buzz.
I think that's the big engine, little car thing.
Could be, yeah.
There's nothing hitting anything as far as we can tell.
Right. Wow.
The motor mounts in this thing are actually factory Corvette motor mounts.
Are they?
Yeah, to get as much isolation as we can. You know, you don't want to be beaten up by this car. You want to be able to drive it all day.
This car is so cool. It's so cool. My only like it's totally worth the money. If you could do it, I mean, if you want to be different, like I know as a Corvette owner, I know as well as anybody that a Corvette just isn't for everybody.
It's not, no. And this isn't for everybody.
But Corvette performance, for sure.
Everyone digs that.
Everyone loves Corvette performance, especially, you know, in a smaller and even lighter. I mean, this is awesome.
This is 1,000 pounds lighter than a Z06.
This is awesome. This car. And without, you know, you're not going to get any heat soak. There's going to be plenty of air going over this engine,
cool,
right?
Cool as well.
And cool because you've got a bigger frontal area than even the Corvettes. You've got a bigger mouth. This was awesome. Thank you, Keith. This was such a treat. I'm really, really happy about this. Is it flyingmiata.com?
That's the one.
Plug it all. Flyingmiata.com, Instagram, Facebook, whatever.
Yeah, we're on Instagram. That's like everything's Fly Miata.
Okay.
Fly Miata on Instagram.
Search for Fly Miata
on Facebook.
They do suspensions, they do turbo kits, supercharger kits, engine swap kits. If you've got a Miata and want to make it go fast, you know, this is
what we do.
This is the best game in town. And holy hell, if you've got 75 grand and you want the ultimate sleeper, yeah, right here. This is the jam. Thanks for watching. Thanks so much for coming. And we'll see you guys later.
In the early years of the supercar as we know it, there were no right answers to the question of how to build the fastest cars. Lamborghini had 12 cylinders mounted sideways in the Miura. Ferrari liked to mount them up front. And in the midst of it all, a company who, in its entire history, has produced only 4 production models, got it right. No, scratch that. In 1971, Di Tommaso launched the Pantera and got it so right that the car stayed in production for 20 years. Well, sort of anyway. The car appeared and then disappeared and then reappeared, but then was slightly changed, and it was all a bit of a mess from a business standpoint, but thanks to its low price relative to its Italian competition, they sold, and they sold well. Looking back on it, we can see why Di Tommaso's formula worked. Take an advanced steel monocoque with aggressive proportions, give it stunning sheet metal by Tom Charda, a body by Ghia, and stick a Ford 351 Cleveland right in the middle. The last Pantera rolled off the line in 1991 after a production run of just over 7,000 cars, and Di Tommaso never made another anything, really. But what if they had? You'd probably have this. A 600 horsepower carbon and aluminum, low, wide, yellow, comic book villain's nightmare. At one point, this was a 71 Pantera, but thanks to the work of 2 Wisconsinites on the outside, Nike on the inside, HRE on the ground, and General Motors in the middle, it's now about as Italian as Chef Boyardee. But that's okay, because if you aren't up to date with the world of pro touring muscle cars, I will fill you in. Those Wisconsinites are the Ring Brothers, and they know exactly what they're doing.
It'd be easier for me to tell you what we didn't build on this car than what we did. And what we didn't build on this car is a section of the roof which is from here to here and this wide, and a little piece of the quarter in front of the rear wheel. We looked at it as, hey, if Pantera was going to build this car today, what would they do? going to a Catholic school our whole life with ruler-carrying nuns. We were sick of rules. So we just decided to, you know, pitch something to her that let us just do what we want to do, and she went for it. And really, the only thing she had to have was the car had to be yellow.
Because I have little to no experience actually driving Panteras, I took the stock one out first to get a feel for what a Pantera would be like had I taken delivery at Sunset Lincoln in 1974.
This is one of those days that it's good to be me. I thought it would drive very muscle car-y, but it's actually driving more Italian than American. The engine is much smoother than you'd expect from an American V8. You think Ford 351 and you're thinking lumpy, dragster, hot rod, cammy, this, the way it revs, the way it transmits power, it reminds me a lot more of like an AMG motor or the BMW E39 M5 engine. About 300 horsepower. The European GTS's got a bit more because they didn't have to deal with our stupid emissions regulations. It's 0 to 60 in about 5.5 seconds. That's with the dogleg first gear. Shifter throws are long but very direct as it is gated. No power steering. It's heavy when you're going slow, light when you're going fast. Not really any slop in it whatsoever. And it's really nice. It's got the thin A-pillars. It has actually a very kind of airy greenhouse, even though I don't really fit well in it. The pedal box is about 6 inches further inboard than would be considered ideal. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that I am too fat to put the seatbelt on. The car doesn't fit around me. It's as fast as I'd realistically want it to be. Fast enough to have a good time in. Something about having that American V8 behind you. The noises are different. You don't get as much induction noise. It feels so solid. I don't know why I expected it to feel kind of crappy. Maybe because it's 40 years old. Maybe because Italians and Americans of the period, neither were known for build quality. And yet, it is just a very, very solid thing. It's a very involving experience, and yet not really sketchy. It really shows A, the design of the car is fundamentally sound, and B, that the restoration is incredibly high quality, because it does just feel so solid. I'm not going slowly right now. I'm kind of moving a little bit. They're not known for their abilities to cool themselves down in traffic, which is why I'm thrilled to have an empty road. Look at that, rain is approaching, I think. 2 Panteras and a road all to myself. The last thing you want is rain.
There ain't really nothing left of Pantera on this car at all. It's got all C5 style suspension and the tubular control arms. It runs a Porsche drive axle in the rear, the stock ZF transmission. The thing that we get the most grief from and crucified for is we actually put an LS3 Chevy motor in here, and we were actually looking at all kinds of different ideas, but every one of these cars always has a budget, and bang for the buck, all out drivability, reliability, you know, you can't beat that LS motor, and that's what we chose to put in it, and that's what's in it. The car was definitely built to drive. We've got some dialing in to do. You know, we went from SEMA, you know, balls out 7 days a week to get the car to SEMA, and by the time we got it home, it's winter in Wisconsin. The car had really never been driven at all until I drove it up this mountain road right here.
why I'm not wearing seatbelts. Because there aren't any. So far, it's interesting. I didn't think that any car would be smaller than the original Pantera. This one is. Where's the gear? Okay. Stock transmission, but the shifter feel is a little different. It's still dogleg. It's not gated, so I can't really see where I'm putting it. This one has power steering. They have changed the placement of the brakes, so I can't heel toe at all. It's got power, that's for sure. It sounds completely different. It doesn't even really sound like an LS motor, honestly. It sounds just mean and angry, which is good. I mean, this is the kind of car that you'd like to be seen driving in. It sounds the business. Yeah, it's fast. It's fast. It's a handful. That is for sure. The steering is a bit dead on center and then a bit darty once you're off center. So that certainly takes some getting used to. It corners really flat. And there is a lot of grip.
But wait, as they say, there's more. Nike, the company best known for sponsoring famous long-distance runner Forrest Gump, sent their Skunkworks division to provide the Ring brothers with an interior.
They just said, look guys, you know, just for an exercise, we'd love to be able to, you know, do a car with you. If you guys ever have something exciting come up, you know, let us know. So we let them know, talked to them about the Pantera, and they loved the idea, and they jumped on board. You know, they kind of wanted to see it the way they wanted to see it, which is really good. The car's a 71. The speedometer only has a 71 number on it. The tach has a 7 on it. The two-tone interior was kind of all about the driver. Passenger didn't even get an AC vent over there. It's just kind of all about the guy sitting in the driver's seat.
No one actually knows if these spool gauges work or not. It says 7, and that might be 7,000 RPM, but that's all it says. And I don't know. They're designed like a can of tennis balls or something. The material on the steering wheel is so soft and delicious. When I was in Australia, I bought a kangaroo scrotum once as a gag. This feels just like that. Soft kangaroo balls.
The fenders we built, the entire front end of the car is built. We built the doors, the roof, obviously the whole back hatch area. The bottom of the car is a full flat belly pan. The hood is built all out of carbon. We built the quarters. There's lower air intakes. We changed all of that and built a new top half on a different angle. And the entire back end of the car is all fat.
It's got crazy long gearing. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing had a top speed of 200 miles an hour with a 5-speed. Pretty aerodynamic. I'm not sure I want to try it though. As a styling exercise, I really, really dig it. I really dig it. I think they got to spend some time at the racetrack dialing in the finer points of handling. I think they should have left out the power steering. If they actually put the stock steering rack back in, that would solve nearly every problem I have with the car. Because the steering does not inspire much confidence, and I would sacrifice the low speed handfulness to get that steering feel back from the 74 car. I would also maybe find a way to get some extra leg room because I can't feel my right foot anymore. And feeling your right foot is important when you're driving.
Now I understand why the guys, you know, that love that, which I can certainly understand, got mad at us for doing this, but this car was not savable. This car was not a candidate to be an original car.
We, of course, are in total agreement with Jim.
The stock Pantera is a brilliant car, worth keeping, saving, driving, and restoring. And if the car's too far gone, fuck it, Pro Tour. But to groan on and on about a full custom not driving perfectly right out of the trailer is a bit half-empty way of looking at things. On the flip side, look what's been achieved. This car is stunning, exquisitely built no matter how close you look, with perfect finishes on every surface. It's sinful, angry, sensual, and cliche as it is, rolling artwork. And when you consider that the making of this film is the first time it's been driven, well, ever, it's brilliant. The only way to improve it is, ironically, to make it a bit more like the original.
And it is raining and I have no wipers. In a SEMA car. In the mountains. That I don't own. And I don't have insurance for. Right.
Hey guys, I want to thank all of you that supported the Smoking Tire by buying some of our merch during our limited run sales. But so many of you have emailed me in between then saying they want to get merch. We couldn't help but open a store. So we did it with something old and something new. We brought back the vintage tee and vintage hoodie in all the colors, so now you can get those again. And we got Smoking Tire embroidered hats. They're dope. We got the curved bill, new era flex fit in all sizes, and we got the flat bill snapback for you. So go to our store, it's in the description of the video, or click the annotation, get one for yourself, and of course, thank you for supporting the Smoking Tire. Hey guys, welcome to the Angeles Forest. I love NA Civic builds. I think you've seen my joy at 3 or 4 of them by now. And this is going to be it. We're going to stop here. As far as I know, we've reached the end of the NA Civic build line with Emmanuel from NA Performance. And good to have you, sir. You may remember Emmanuel. He rode with me in that white supercharged Civic that you built. He also built the red NA Civic, George's car that I loved. This is your personal car.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
So it's a 2007 8th generation Civic. All the other Civics you drove were 9th gen, so this is the older model. This has a K25, which is a TSX bottom end, sleeved, overboard, and it's got a CNC head, cams, drag cartel cams, the valve train. It's got a custom manifold, custom throttle body, and most importantly, it's got a Motec ECU.
Okay, and you said 330 wheel horsepower.
Yes,
NA.
330, and there is a dyno sheet.
I'm sure there is. Well, you're the guy here. So, and I've driven 2 of your other cars now, and I have no doubt this is gonna kick ass. So let's have a go. And this is running E85, yes?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So far, other than being loud, it's Honda-y. So you said before we got in the car, this is 14-to-1 compression?
Yes, 14-to-1.
So how far down the rabbit hole is this? Is this the end of the line for this?
I think this is the end of the line for a street car.
This is as crazy as you could build.
This is as far as I'll go for a street setup.
Okay.
Yeah, if I go any further, I won't drive it on the street.
Road's a little damp. And you said you drag race this car from time to time.
Yes. Yeah, we just got back from the drag strip and it went 11.3 at 124.
In case you didn't hear that, let me repeat. 11.3 at 124 in an all-motor Civic street car.
Yep.
That's kick-ass. That, I assume, is slicks on the front,
yes,
right?
Slicks, and we took out the seats, but that's about it.
This feels awesome, by the way. I haven't gone more than like half throttle yet because the road is damp, but
VTEC is also very high.
The pedal spacing,
you have to really stab it.
You do have to stab it.
Yeah, for the downshift, you have to really stab it.
There we go. I had to turn my foot and actually use my heel and my toe as opposed to side to side. Where is VTEC?
6800.
Oh wow,
it's up there. Yeah.
Oh, this thing is manic though.
Yeah.
It wants you to be mean to it.
Oh yeah.
Wow, it feels great. So much like instant power. You know
on the throttle. You know what I mean? I'm off throttle and I still can tell that it's there. The shifter is so good.
Thank you.
It's, do you make that part?
The shift knob is made by my buddy, but the transmission's all done. There's,
oh yeah, you have custom gearing in this car
yes,
too, right?
Yeah.
So how do you... Oh my god, this is so good, bro. how did you change the gearing?
So we did PPG helical first and second, third gear stock, fourth and fifth are from an Integra Type R from Japan, and sixth gear is from a 2012 Civic because it's the tallest one, and the final drives off the Type R.
Okay,
yeah.
So but that's a whole big hodgepodge of mix and match parts.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that?
I just kind of looked at the ratios and kind of saw what I needed for the car.
Okay.
And I mean, even with this short gearbox, we're going through all 5 gears in the quarter mile, so we have to really...
So you're running 11 seconds, shifting 4 times.
Yes, 4 times now.
Oh, this thing is the jam, dude. Yeah, you got to give it a real big stab to flip it, but what a kick-ass car. Oh, this gravel sucks. It's like so progressive and nice. Oh man, I gotta watch out for these rocks down here. What a brilliant little thing. And what does this weigh, 2,800 pounds or something?
This car, the way it sits, is about 2,500 pounds.
Oh, it doesn't feel like anything.
Yeah.
What have you done with your suspension? Because your steering is really, really good on center as well.
It's got some HPD bushings in the steering rack.
Is that it?
That's it, yeah.
No way.
It's got a Godspeed suspension, which is
just coilover?
Pretty standard, yeah.
But bushings in the steering rack, huh?
Oh, it's got spherical bushings in the A-arms.
Wow, that's really, because these Hondas, they tend to have this very light steering that's like direct, but you kind of have to put quite a bit of input in. This seems
If
like
you,
it's less.
If you floor it in first, it has full traction control.
I'll floor it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's traction control. What's weird is that, so when I go to shift,
there's
it kind of dies a little bit and then comes back. What is that from?
That's probably because of the long runner manifold.
Okay.
We haven't really, I mean, we basically tune it for straight line.
So when you're drag racing, you no lift shifting?
Oh yeah, we power shift.
You're slamming it.
Yeah,
okay.
we power shift it. So
it's when you're going around here, it's an interesting. You have to change up your strategy a little bit.
More or less, you have to keep your foot in it, pretty much.
Like that?
Yeah.
Oh, this car is great, man. Honda people out there, have this guy build you a motor, because this is what's up. Okay, brass tacks time though. I bring you a Civic, just like this one. What does it cost to build this engine? Because this can't be cheap.
It's not. This motor.
15 Gs?
This motor, yeah, about 15 Gs.
15 Gs.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, even you have to recognize that is a ton of money put into a Honda.
Oh yeah.
So why? I mean, why why make that kind of thing a business?
Well, I mean, for me, I've always liked the challenge.
Oh, I love this gentleman right here. Oh, thank you, sir.
Or it's not working.
I tried to be better, but it didn't work. So the challenge of making big power from an NA Honda.
I like the challenge. I just like NA motors as well. I do a lot of turbo motors.
So can you weigh in on what are some of the advantages if you've got a Honda to going with a turbo versus NA?
There's a ton of advantages. The first one is cost. The second one is power, reliability. I mean, everything is pretty much going to be better with the turbo.
Okay.
But I mean, if you're an NA fan, you like quick response.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
If
So
I
it's
was
just,
building a car for the canyons like this,
yeah,
would you push me towards an NA car or a turbo?
I think I would, and I would probably push you towards like a 300 horsepower versus this, which is a little too.
If I wanted to back the power down by 30 or 40, could I have a more
It'd be
streetable package?
It'd be a lot less. It would idle a lot better. It would just drive a lot better. Everything would be better because these
drives pretty good.
Yeah, these
start though. Oh,
yeah.
the start. Let's see what happens. Like, what if I go to here's fifth, sixth. Oh wow, sixth is super tall. Yes. So what are you cruising on the highway at 65, 70, and 6? Like 2,000?
No, about 3,000.
Okay, so it's still kind of high.
Yeah.
Other than the upfront cost, let's say, ignoring this engine, let's talk about a 300 horsepower engine. Right. Ignoring the upfront cost, is there any real downside to an engine like this? Is this
just a slightly higher maintenance?
That's it.
Yeah, you just got to keep an eye on things like the tensioner. That tends to fail more often on high lift cam motors. But that's about it. I mean,
all right. I don't want to sit behind a Dodge Dart, and so I'm going to stop right here, and we are going to give us an opportunity to at least finish this video off strong by going a little bit quick at the end, because this car. Oh yeah, see the idle's rough.
Yeah.
Listen to that thing.
It's a cammed motor.
Do you have like solid motor mounts and that kind of stuff too, or is that just the motor?
For this shoot, I put one of the stock mounts back in just to kind of calm it down. Yeah.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah.
All right, we made ourselves a little gap. I commend your use of a pretty normal clutch though.
Yeah, it's an Exetti Stage 1.
You don't need a crazy clutch on this, huh?
No.
Happier the faster you shift.
Yeah.
There we go. This car is awesome, man.
Thank you.
I really like this thing. It's great fun. It's easy to drive too once you get your timing down.
Yeah.
It's got to have LSD, right?
It does.
Definitely end our NA Civic run there. That was a cool car. It revs beautifully. I mean, obviously with this, yeah, it idles rough. But you know how to build a Honda engine. I commend you absolutely for that. NA Performance.
Yep.
Where are you out of?
Ventura,
California. We gotta have you back. I want you to bring me a turbo car.
Okay,
we gotta
absolutely.
try that. And then we can cross the Civic off the list because we've pretty much covered them all at this point. But yeah, definitely check out NA Performance. This is a really neat build. Great power, great fun to drive. 11 seconds all motors Civic.
We're shooting for 10s. The 60-foot was horrible on that run.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you got to be Busy did that Insight. He ran 9s. But that's like, that looks like one of those like solar cars.
Yeah.
It's like it's got like little bicycle tires.
Yeah, this has an actual intake and an exhaust.
It's a street car.
Yeah, it's a street car.
That's crazy. Well, and check out Emmanuel's wheel well. I'd like to see the real detailed parts list of this. That's some cool nerdy stuff. Thank you for watching. Yep. Thank you for coming down, sir. I really appreciate it. Have a good afternoon. Hey guys, welcome to the Canyon. It's a beautiful day, and this is the Dinan S1 M4 with their S1 package, which you can get from many dealers or from Dinan itself. First, let's talk about this. Watch of the week. This is the Guards Red Design RL72. Pretty cool. Looks like a Porsche tachometer. And they sent this to me, and you can check it out on their Instagram, Guards Red Design, or on their website. Kind of dig it. It's a neat change of pace. If you want to send me a watch of the week, I'm certainly open to that. So, about the Dinan M4. It is your standard M4, dual clutch, steel brakes, non-electronic damper control car. I'm just going to read off the spec sheet. That way I don't have to remember it later. So, it comes with the tuner, stainless steel exhaust, carbon fiber cold air intake. That's good for 530 horsepower and 504 pound-feet of torque. That is warranted, matches the factory warranty up to 4 years or 50,000 miles. For suspension, it's got Dinan's adjustable coilovers, lightweight tubular adjustable sway bars, and negative camber control arms. And then it also has the Dinan aluminum pedals, the badges, and some accessories on this car, including the wheels, the carbon front and rear splitters, carbon fiber mirror covers,
etc. So performance-wise, you can get this package for $10,000 plus your M3 or M4. If you want the wheels and tires, that's an extra few $1,000. And if you want the carbon fiber accessories, you can add those as you want. But the important things, engine, suspension, that is 10 grand plus your M3. So let's go into Sport Plus. And I like my steering in Sport more so than Sport Plus. Sport Plus is a little artificially heavy for me. Oop. Guys, coming around the corner, hot. Adjusted my mic. And we're off. Okay, so let's see how 530 horsepower feels. Oh, I'm in auto. I need to be in manual there. There's people literally stretching in the road. I have no explanation for that one. The more I drive the new M cars, frankly, the more I miss the V8. This car, it sounds cool, but it's just not that loud. And when you're in the car, you hear it. When you have the windows open, you hear nothing. It's just wind. Car is equipped with Pirelli Corsa tires, which are quite pricey, but nice. Let's see the power here. Transmission kicks you a little bit in Sport Plus. That's a nice thing. Steel brakes are effective. The steel brakes are really more than enough in this car. The ceramics, if you want to get them, you might get something back on the resale, and they're worth it if you don't ever have to replace them. If you got to replace them, then they immediately become not such a good value. Well, the car's real quick. You know, these things, they feel big now. It's just it's not that it feels heavy or it doesn't get around. It's just a bigger car, especially in my driveway. As far as the Dinan stuff goes, the power is great. It feels just like the power band of the standard car, except there is more of it everywhere at the power band. The torque curve isn't quite as flat. It's a little bit more sloped, so you get a little more turbo-y feel. Here we go. Wow, look at it go. That is a fast car. And there's really not much downside. The adjustable suspension in this car is adjusted a little stiff for my taste. I feel a lot of these road imperfections, and when I've been driving it around LA, it's a little stiff for daily driving. So I would say if you wanted to go for the electronic damper control from BMW, that might be better for a daily driver type car. But if you're looking to upgrade a car that doesn't have that, definitely go for this suspension, and maybe just set the settings for a little bit softer than this for daily use. I'm sure they really cranked this up to max performance because they were giving it to me to test, but about 3,800 is where you start to get your torque. You definitely are going to get used to driving at a bit of a higher RPM to keep it in the power band. You had to do that with the V8 too, actually. This wasn't a particularly torquey V8 in the E92. This thing just eats up road. Hard to complain about the dual clutch gearbox. I mean, Porsche is the gold standard here. This one is excellent. I wouldn't hesitate to get it. I like the 3-pedal actually. The stick shift in the M4 was a lot of fun, and I would get that for my own car. But if you live somewhere with a lot of traffic, or if you spend a lot of time at the racetrack, the DCT does what it's told, and that's really the highest compliment you can give a gearbox, is that it just does what you tell it to do. So many of them, we'll talk about your shift times and your whatnot, but the fact is, when you tell it to shift, sometimes it just doesn't. This thing is, it's fast. Because you don't get as much of the sound, because it is so composed. It's firm, but it's planted. It doesn't feel like it's getting bounced around and unsettled. You just feel a lot. But because you don't really get that sound, the speed doesn't translate as well to me. I have to look down at the speedometer and go, holy shit, I really am going 100 there. I don't just get it from the engine. Brilliant road, big, fast road here. Not too many hairpins. The steering in sport mode is nice. It's right on center. Sport Plus is a little heavy. The steering wheel is perfect. This is the best steering wheel BMW's ever made. They should put it in everything. Go. This is a very, very impressive car. I mean, if you consider a base M3 plus this stuff, I know nobody gets the base, but there's a lot that is right about this, and you don't really hear about a good value with Dinan because they tend to be more expensive. And Steve was on the podcast and explained all that because they do so much R&D work on their products that has to come from somewhere. But it does say something about Dinan that I don't have a babysitter for this test. You know, a lot of tuner companies send someone with me, and that's great. But for a tuner company to just drop a car off at my house, say, do whatever you want to do, have fun, see you in a couple days, that's confidence in their product, and they have never, ever let me down. You may have remembered us driving the Dinan 1M. That is the king. That's the best BMW, I think, with the exception of the V8 1M. That is the best BMW road car that I've ever driven. This, because it's bigger, because it's got a wider stance, because it's got a dual clutch gearbox, it feels more composed than that. It's a little more of a tourer than that car. That car had huge power and a very short wheelbase, and so it was just as manic as can be. This one is a little more subtle. It's a little more, it doesn't feel like it wants to bite you. It doesn't feel like it's too fast for roads. It frankly feels just about right. I mean, just a couple of years ago, Dinan had to do a complete engine swap to get these types of power gains out of the M3. And here, it's 3 parts. It's a tuner, an exhaust, and an intake, and you get 100 horsepower. It's a beautiful car. I'm going to launch it real quick. Can we launch it? Probably, right? Traction control off. Let's see. No? I didn't like that. DSC inactive. Let's try and launch it now. There we go. Launch control. Oh, did a nice little burnout there. Chirped them. Yeah, launch control does work. Little wheel spin on there. It wasn't like a PDK all-wheel drive launch where it just thrust you, but rear-wheel drive car. I like that. I tugged the paddle there, and I didn't quite have enough revs for that gear, and as soon as I slowed down enough to get enough revs, the car did complete the shift for me. So that was nice. I like when a car does that. I don't like having to keep tugging it, waiting for that gear, wondering when it's going to come. You tug it once, and when it can give you the gear, it gives you the gear. That's brilliant. Well, this car is fast, fast, fast. What's funny, though, is I just got out of the 034 Motorsport Audi TT RS, and while I think these cars are about the same speed. The TTRS was more fun. It was lower, it was lighter, it was smaller. This, you know, with its usable back seat and its big trunk, has taken the place in my mind of like the first generation M6, or I should say the Bengal era M6. Even though this is a much, much better car than that, that's sort of where I put it. And I actually put the 2 Series back into the M3's position in terms of size. This is just, it's just big. It's big everywhere. The power is really just endless, though. There's so much of it. It's so integrated and seamless. With the exception of the stiff suspension, there's nothing about this car at all that it doesn't feel 100% factory. It has no hiccups that I can see. I just wish it was louder. I don't hear it. I don't get anything back from it in my senses. So, you know, maybe it's 4 or 5 seconds a lap faster than the old E92 car with the stroker engine, but that car is still more fun just because it's such a rewarding sound. This is, I know it's the way of the future, but it's just not a rewarding sound. If I was up here in my Vet, I'd just be like, "Rah!" And this is a lot faster than my Vet, I think, but I'm not sure I care. I want to care. Does make a nice daily driver, though. And the wheels look really good. I'm a big fan of those Dinan wheels. They look nice. Woo! Getting toasty in here. A lot of grip from these tires. I mean, I'm not really pushing it, but not a hint of squeal or anything. And I'm carrying some pretty big speeds through these corners. Are those people going to be sitting in the road when I get back? In the road, I don't recommend, oh good, they're off the road now. I don't really recommend stretching in the road or doing push-ups or whatever it was that they were doing. I don't recommend that. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. You could cover ground. Like if you were gonna do a hypothetical road rally in which speed was important, you could really cover a lot of ground in one of these. It's a very stable platform for high-speed cruising. I like it. I like it a lot. I just don't like it quite as much as the V8. Mercedes Club? Mercedes development drivers. All right, there we go. Okay, well, that was fun. Thank you, Dinan, for that experience. I enjoyed it very much. And I will see you guys next time. It's not often that you get a truly all-new Corvette. In fact, the last time a Corvette was really all-new was in 1997, and I was a junior in high school. And while Corvettes have always been a car of compromise, sure, good on paper, but never quite in pace with the Europeans, they've got something to look out for, because now there really is an all-new one. When we say all-new, we truly mean it from the ground on up. The chassis itself is aluminum, bonded and welded, and is 50% stiffer and 100 pounds lighter than the C6. The new body is stunning and as slippery as they come, now integrating cooling ducts into the exterior in a way normally reserved for top-tier exotics and race cars. Sitting in this car, it's an immediate difference. Now, let's not waste anyone's time here. Let's just cut straight to the chase, and let's just make sure that it does. Yes, okay, it can light the tires up without any trouble whatsoever.
Just to make sure, let's do a few more. Because you all know you would too, I had to do a few more.
That's the good news. And the reason it can do that is because under the hood, it's an all-new engine. It's the LT1.
The new LT1 engine is completely unrelated to the old LT1 from the C4. It's the same 6.2 liters of displacement as the LS3 and still uses push rods, but that's where the similarities end. It's now direct injected and features variable cam timing and cylinder deactivation. Fortunately, the Eco-Toys haven't hurt the engine's strength, and it now makes 460 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque.
Those of you who are Corvette geeks will realize that that is actually more low-end torque than the 7-liter LS7 found in the previous generation Z06. Let's see how she do. Oh, yes. Very nice. I love the power because smooth, even, very predictable. You know, it's not peaky, there's no valleys, there's tons of low-end torque, and it continues right up to the red line. It sounds a lot like the Grand Sport, but there's a little more intake noise coming from up front.
Sending power rearwards is the controversial 7-speed manual gearbox by Tremec, which incorporates auto rev matching function for both upshifts and downshifts.
It's got a great shifter, really good action, not too short, not too stiff. I'm talking about shifters here. And the question you're probably asking, is 7 speeds too many? My one gripe with this car is that yes, 7 speeds are too many. Not in theory, because it helps with fuel economy, but in practice. For instance, I'm in 4th gear right now. If I want to go to 5th, I have to be very careful to actually get it into 5th. If I'm trying to shift too fast, I could very easily end up in 7th. On the other hand, it does have, by flicking this paddle here, it engages auto rev matching. Perfect auto rev match every time. Perfect auto rev match every time. Would I use it for myself? Not so much, but if you're stuck in traffic, it's a nice thing to have. Or if you're not particularly confident with your heel towing skills, you know, on the racetrack, it'll keep you safe, keep you from upsetting the car by not operating the clutch properly or not knowing how to heel tow. The best value in cars today is the Z51 package for this car. It's $2,800. You get bigger wheels, bigger brakes, completely revised aerodynamics. You get a dry sump oil system. $2,800. It's amazing.
It wouldn't be an all-new Corvette if the numbers weren't staggeringly good, and the C7 doesn't disappoint there either.
0 to 60, 3.8 seconds. Quarter mile, 12 seconds. Top speed, 180 plus. 29 miles per gallon on the highway. There is no car you can buy that makes this much horsepower, goes this fast, and gets that kind of fuel economy. It's because it's slippery. Let's talk functional downforce. There's a bunch of it. They have managed the airflow so well around this car. Everything they've learned from racing Corvettes, computational fluid dynamics, and real-world testing. And this is one of the most efficient sports car shapes in the world. Air goes in the big front air dam, comes out through the extractor, and in between goes through a forward tilting radiator like they use in the C6R race car. Better cooling. The air comes around the windshield and into the side NACA ducts above the rear wheels. Now, you think this might be brake ducts, but it's actually for cooling the transmission as well as the oil cooler. Then the air is extracted through the rear transom of the car, just passing right through the body rather than around it like my car. But the biggest revelation has got to be the interior. Because honestly, you know, a Corvette is always fast. It's always been fast. It's always going to be fast. Well, except in the early 80s, but recently. The interior, it's the materials, it's the workmanship. I just drove the Jaguar F-Type, and we're right in the same wheelhouse here with this car. And everything is leather, real aluminum, real dry carbon fiber. These switches feel like they belong in a $60,000 car. There's 3 USB ports, 2 12-volt ports. Everywhere I look, it feels like a premium package. It doesn't, especially when you hit the go pedal. You got 2 8-inch screens, one here, one in the gauge pod. The gauge pod one switches around depending on what mode you're in. In track mode, it looks more like a race car. In touring mode, it shows more of the information you want when you're on a road trip. Fuel economy, temperatures, that kind of stuff.
The changes aren't just playing catch-up on features with the Europeans either. The C7 gets cool bits of new tech you can't get anywhere else at any price.
It even has an amazing new technology that senses when the tires are properly warmed up. This is a system that works with the traction and stability control, senses when the tires are up to temperature, and allows you to drive at the tire's limit for its temperature. It's helped them actually shave 3 feet off their 60 to 0 braking time and get better acceleration numbers and better handling numbers too. It's really incredible. The Vet is one of those cars, it's got to be everything, right? It's got to be a daily driver. It's got to be an all-star when you get to the track. It's got to be a grand tourer. It's got to be a luxury car. And for the first time ever, I really think they've actually accomplished it. What I love most about the C7 is that it's finally a Corvette without excuses. It's not like, oh, well, it's 50 grand, so it doesn't need to have this, or it's 50 grand, so the dash can be made of plastic, or it's got 400 horsepower, so it's okay if the seats are crappy. Old people buy it, so it's okay if the seats are crappy. I will never, and I say never, complain about Corvette seats again, because these seats are wonderful. These are the touring seats. They're going to have a sport seat later, but these seats are absolutely brilliant, comfortable for a road trip, good headrest, plenty of lateral bolstering, and the aggressive seats coming later are going to have even more. I've got cooled seats. I've got cooled seats in a Corvette right now. From the luxury, the technology, the performance, the value, it has all come together in a package that, to me, really feels like it was built by someone who cares. Usually when I drive a GM car, it'll be okay, and then I'll get to one thing, and it'll be like, what did they do there? How did that get through? With the Corvette, honestly, there's none of that. It feels like such a well-engineered, well-sorted, well-developed package, and the accountants didn't win. The engineers and the designers went to the accountants and they said, hey, you give us that money because it's time that we make this car a world-class car, not just world-class performance. And here it is. And it's amazing. And it may sound like I'm rambling, but there's really a lot here to talk about. Everything is new. The last time there was an all-new Corvette, I was in high school. Now there's a new Corvette. Here I am driving it for a living. How crazy is that? Whoa, F40. Driving around in Monterey is always a treat. You see the most wonderful of whips. And the car is so good, I almost can't believe it. I almost don't want to believe it. It's light. It's 3,250 pounds. It's balanced. It's actually got a slight rear weight bias with a full tank of fuel. It's got a super advanced traction control system that it's very easy. Look, off. Super advanced traction control system, off. Brilliant. It's hard to find a car today that doesn't, at least in a little bit, get in the way of the driver. You know, this car, you can configure it the way you want, but then when you get in it and drive it, it's extremely analog. Oh, whipping! Okay, maybe I shouldn't go to jail today, but that was a big number. It really does make you want to go out and just hoon the shit out of it, doesn't it? This fucking thing.
Crappy.
My car feels like a shitbox now after driving a C7. That's the conclusion of the video. We go back to the intro at the conclusion of the video where I get back in my car to set it up for this shot and come to the conclusion that, damn, there was before and then there's after in terms of Corvette, and mine is certainly the before and not the after. I hope so, because this is the outro to the video. This is the conclusion. You're looking at now, sir, and my car is fast, but it's a lot more plastic than the new one is. 15 years goes a long way, people. American cars can be nice, especially this one. Hey man, thanks for letting us by. I'm gonna wave this guy around. I'm gonna rip a huge burnout right here, okay? 3, 2, 1. know about you guys, but I think that sounds pretty good. That was just a little taste. That was a little taste. Put the real video up soon.
The spectrum of cars out there is the size of the world itself, and the only way to see them is to actually go there. And so when an opportunity to film car culture in New Zealand came up, thanks to Andy, Kaz, and Rob, the creators of Automation, we took them up on it and brought back these films. Automation is the first car company tycoon game where you can design your own cars and engines in crazy technical detail, test them, and create your own version of the perfect car company. And rather than buying banner ads, they called on us to help sell it. Without them, we wouldn't have these videos, so check out their game at automationgame.com. As we continue our tour of New Zealand, one thing becomes abundantly clear. A massive percentage of the tuner car landscape is made up of Japanese domestic market cars. Because of New Zealand's lax import laws, which are a basic necessity down there, the entire country is a JDM dream come true. From Skylines to Silvias to the best of Mitsubishi and Subaru, Japanese performance cars are plentiful, affordable, and frequently tuned to massive numbers. But for this film, we wanted something rare even by New Zealand standards. A car I've never seen in person before and didn't even know what it was when I first saw a photo. This is a Toyota Chaser. It looks like a stretched 1990s Camry with an Acura Legend nose. It blends. It disappears. In traffic, you wouldn't look at it twice, except underneath the comfy seats, rear legroom, and Japanese kitsch, you'll find a Supra.
So much boost!
Actually, the whole reason for building the car was to get away from modifying cars. After having a myriad of different vehicles, all sorts of hybrid converted cars, 450 horsepower Integra, F20 powered A86, decided, hey, I better grow up and buy something that's a little bit more mature and a bit more comfortable. The bet with all the friends were that I'd own the car for a day before I started modifying it. They won the bet.
He's made some adjustments to this car for the shoot day, which frankly I might not have done. He wanted it to look cool, so it's sitting nice and low, but he also, the running gear of the car hangs very low underneath, and he didn't want it to bottom out on us, so he set it quite stiff. So it's a bit jittery in here right now, and not really luxury sedan.
It was a luxury car. So it was extremely comfortable when I first bought the car. I used it as a daily driver when I was working at my previous employment. Unfortunately, as the bug bites and you get itchy and you want to make it faster, you've got to make it a bit more, grippable. So, the Recaro seats are from a DC2 Type R. In terms of comfort, dial the suspension back and it's a perfect daily driver. Take it out to these roads out in Coromandel, wind the suspension up, make it nice and tight, nice and firm, and it handles like an absolute dream.
Because of the gearing, it's not really good for quarter mile, but on highway racing, it is pretty spectacular. Not that the owner is admitting to highway racing, of course. This is an alleged situation. Also, allegedly, when he goes out drifting with his mates on Thursday night, it's quite good at that. Oh my God.
Engine's a 1JZ. It's a variable valve timing one, so it's a later model motor. Very, very uncommon in terms of, the 1Js and 2Js to have a variable valve timing setup, and because they only come in a very small amount of cars, and this is one of them.
It's not a light car. It weighs about 3,700 pounds. But it is a full-size sedan with safety features. It's got a bump-in stereo system, which I'd love to play for you, except international copyright law prevents me from using any of the music that I might play out of it. There are quite a lot of gauges happening here. There's a tach with a shift light, there's a boost controller, an ECU monitoring computer, a boost gauge, a water temperature gauge, air-fuel ratio gauge. So lots of information, a bit busy up here on the dashboard. Funny enough, the carbon dash on this and all the trim around the window surrounds looks aftermarket, but was original equipment on this vehicle. So I'll just take you through the rev range. At low RPMs, right, it sounds very engine-like, right? Mechanical, it's like when it gets onto boost though, the engine sound is completely replaced by just rushing air. And it sounds like you've built a nuclear vacuum cleaner. It's just the best.
I had the motor actually rebuilt around about sort of 2013. We had some problems with the valve stem seals failing, and unfortunately, you know, with something like that, you've got to pull the head off to repair it. And you know, with the whole itch and all that sort of stuff, you pull the head off. Oh well, the head's off. Might as well get the you know, do the cams or the head's off. Oh, the head's off. Might as well refresh the bottom end. So you know, what was supposed to be a weekend job to, you know, do the valve stem seals ended up being an absolute nightmare, but a nightmare that was well worth it in the end, because 100 extra kilowatt on top, going from 220 kilowatt before to 320 kilowatt now. It's so fun to drive it.
How many miles, kilometers are on this thing? Uh-oh. Oh, that's... There's a button here. I thought it was to check the odometer, but it actually just blacks out all the gauges. That's neat. There's some weird JDM stuff in here too, like the swinging vents. It's got these oscillating vents. I think we got them in the States in a couple of Mazdas, but we never had them in a Lexus or a Toyota, and that's really cool. So New Zealand is about a few things. You know, it's about home build, garage, ingenuity. It's about freedom to kind of do whatever you want, as long as you're not making other motorists unsafe with your build. You're kind of free to take your own life into your hands here, which I like. It's a personal responsibility thing. And also this country has some very lax importation laws. So you will see cars from Japan, from Europe, from America. It's just this melting pot of cars, and I love that. When the Audi R8 first came out, it received virtually universal praise from both critics and customers. In fact, it was so well received, Audi sold nearly 10,000 of these cars in the first 2 years of production. But most people complained that the Audi's 3,400 pounds was just too much for the 4.2-liter V8 to hustle around. They wanted more power. So what Audi did was offer a 5.2-liter V10 straight out of the Lamborghini Gallardo that made 520 horsepower. So for 40 grand, you get an extra 100 horse. I think I found a better solution. What we're looking at here is the R8 Raptor by Performance Outfitters Group and PES Tuning. And what you're looking at in there is an intercooled supercharger tacks on 5 pounds of boost to the 4.2-liter V8, which makes for a grand total of 550 horsepower. And today we're at New Jersey Motorsports Park, the fastest growing racing resort in the US. And we're about to test this car out on the Lightning Racecourse. I'm Matt Farah, you're watching The Smoking Tire. While we're waiting here to go on the track, I will actually tell you about some of the extras that have been put into this car by Performance Outfitters Group in Connecticut. Because the car is for the Bull Run Rally, you've got police lights front and rear, red and blue, green, white. You got the brake light cutout switch. You've got an air horn. Let's see. You've got a laptop computer that pulls out from the glove box. You can get your wireless internet, Google Maps going on there. Then of course you've got the iPhone built in to the sun visor here, and that pops out. That's nice. You got your Bear Tracker scanner right here, your LED red fighter lights up top, and what else you got? Alcantara steering wheel, that's something new. And then you have a little gauge pod up front that shows you all your engine metrics for the supercharged 4.2 liter V8. All right, we're gonna head out onto the racetrack right now, the Lightning course at New Jersey Motorsports Park. Now, I have only driven a few laps on this course, so you never want to jump into a new car on a racetrack and hammer it too hard, so we're going to start off a little slow and work our way up to speed. The R8, I always felt had enough power, but people were complaining that it didn't have enough, so the supercharger really solves that problem, theoretically. Oh yeah, 6,000, 7,000 power! Whoa, broke a little loose there. I actually just broke them loose at about 75 miles an hour. Woo! Coming around the light bulb, sort of bank turn leading onto Lightning Course's front straight here. And I'm gonna feed it some power onto the front straight, entering the straight about 85 miles an hour on the gas. Wow, 100, 110, 120, 30, 40. Woo! Before I have to get back on the brakes, this thing pulls. It's got everything you want about an R8, just with extra horsepower. So all of you that have been whining about how R8s don't have enough power and about how we really need 10 cylinders, not entirely true. Turns out forced induction is really the way to go. Ooh, very smooth linear power delivery. Feels fantastic on the racetrack. Oh my God, is this thing good. Jesus. Talk about your high performance automobile. 550 horsepower at your disposal. It is really, really, and of course Audi's all-wheel drive system really keeping everything in line. As I come over this crest here, whew, man, this car just eats this racetrack up so quickly. And I'm not pushing this car 10/10. This is not my car, and I am not prepared to pay for it if something breaks. So I'm running about 7/10 right now, but man, is this thing a lot of fun. Whew.